gotta rock out to it. You gotta rock out to it. That beat too nice. That beat is way too nice, guys. Oh wee. Guys, y'all can't tell me that beat not clean. Tell me that beat not clean, guys. Guys, can we let that rock for like just another minute or so? Can we let that rock for like another minute or so? Tell me that beat ain't clean, yo. This is shit you ride down in the highway, you know? You got the windows down, nice, beautiful night. It's you and your girl, you feel me? You and your significant other, you and y'all friends. Y'all out chilling, enjoying that city life. Riding with the music down, with the windows down. Oh! This that good music. I'm at a barbecue and they ain't playing nothing smooth like this. Come on now. You feel me? Yo, sick, what's good, bro? We jamming for a second. Let's go. That beat's so smooth, guys. That beat's so smooth. I'm sorry, that beat is too smooth. Been high 80s in the UK today. Yo, Dribble, what's good, man? Persona, it's just a smidge over 100 outside, but I'm cheap as fuck and won't turn on the AC. Yo, damn. I think it's like 85 out here in New York. But yo, what's good, guys? What's going on, man? It's your boy Persona of Gaming with Persona, host of When Persona Speaks. Big shout out to everybody here, man. Big shout out to, you know, the early birds, the day ones, the ones that be here an hour before the podcast about to start. Folks be here early. Yo, shout out to Cyber Dragon, Dribble, Sick Humor. Yo, Void in the building. What's good, Void? Buck Rogers, G Jr., Rollo God in the building. Plus Ultra, Caleb Kaiser. Those were the Plus Ultra, Caleb, Dribble, Buck. They was here early, chilling, ready. Yo, Jamar, what's good, bro? AC cuts into the video game funds. Yo, listen, Buck, I'd rather be sweating than playing video games. Straight up, yo, you can't cut to the video games fund. You feel me? Yeah, it is Buck, but tomorrow is thunderstorms. Yo, A Gaming 50 in the building. What is going on, man? How you feeling today, man? How's everything? Hope y'all good. I hope y'all all are good, man. I hope everything is good. Let me give a round of applause to everybody in the chat. Yo, we got Caution in the building. Caution, how you feeling, man? How's everything with you, sir? So guys, welcome to another episode. We are on episode 56 of When Persona Speaks. And yo, this is going to be a great episode. And it's funny because, was it yesterday or the day before? It was Tuesday. Yeah. On Tuesday, it's funny because me and a couple of people that was here, Karaba, aka Omar, El Matador, Chris Righteous, Spartan God, a couple of us that was a couple of them that stopped by. We were talking about, we touched on it a little bit, but the article came out about Shawn Layden, and he opened up about he was talking about AAA sustainability, right? And we were just talking about this on Tuesday, and I was like, yo, now I'm really about to dive into this. Because like, yo, Shawn Layden put it out there on the table, so we gotta talk about it now. You feel me? A Game, you said you're a few trophies away from Last of Us 2. That's what's up. I kind of I put it down for a little bit just because I needed to process the story. I am gonna go back and get the platinum, but I kind of put it down for right now. But I'm gonna go back and I should have the platinum by the end of this weekend. Maybe we'll see. But yeah. So Shawn Layden, he was talking about that with the AAA sustainability. So we definitely gonna be talking about that, guys. That's gonna be a really good. Really dope conversation to talk about. I'm really excited about that. And then, this Avengers gameplay. We gonna watch this Avengers gameplay. I know there's a couple people, because when I was watching it, I was hyped. Like, I was like, yo, this is dope. I'm really excited for this. But I know that there was quite a few people that wasn't feeling it. I seen on Twitter, people was like, yo, I'm not feeling this, and how this ain't the gameplay is not looking all that great, and the sound of Thor's hammer hitting the enemies wasn't that good, and I was like, what? Yo, folks, we gonna talk about it. Social joins in the building. What is going on, sir? So yeah, we gonna definitely talk about that. There's cheat codes in The Last of Us 2 as well. Oh, let me look that up. I'm gonna look that up later on, off stream. But yeah, guys. So we definitely gonna talk about the Avengers gameplay. We're gonna watch that gameplay. I'm gonna give my thoughts on it. We're gonna talk about that as well. Man, it's. But today gaming, and then something that Phil Spencer said to Quanvo was good. I seen the article with Phil Spencer. We might slide that into talk about what he was. We might slide that in. Man, listen. All I'm gonna say is everything extra that comes out after the fact with Phil Spencer and the Microsoft team when it pertains to next gen. I don't know. It almost feels like they don't want next gen to happen, or they don't care either way. They don't care either way if next gen were to happen or not. It's weird. I don't know. It's just because their language and their approach is just, it throws me off sometimes, because I'm looking at it and I'm like, do you guys even care about this console? Do you guys even care about this console? Do you care about... Listen, I put my hands up, whatever. That was just, I don't know, that definitely threw me off. But, yeah. Oh, the accessibility? Yeah, I know about that. Yeah, I know about that. The accessibility stuff with turning on the... I forgot what the name of that specific option was, but I know you could turn on the accessibility option, and you can see everything through walls or something like that. Yeah, I know about that. But yeah, guys, so let's watch this Avengers gameplay. I am really excited about this game. This war table. You know what's crazy too? Crystal Dynamics definitely took a page out of PlayStation's book. Nintendo, I mean PlayStation and Nintendo. Because Avengers definitely had that formula down in terms of how you do a conference, or how you do an event or a live stream showing off new games, showing off new content or whatever, or talking about a game. They had that formula down packed. I was into it, and it was short too, 25 minutes. I was into it 100%. They did a very great job on just showing off the gameplay, talking about the game, everything, right? They really did their thing. So we're gonna talk about it, right? We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna watch the gameplay. And we're gonna talk about it as we... Oh, matter of fact, let me pop out the chat. so I can see what you guys are talking about. Yo, Sam Ash, what's good, bro? Pop out the chat. Let me pop out the chat, guys. Make sure. What's good with you, Sam Ash? How you feeling today, sir? You know, I appreciate you stopping by, man. So let's watch this, guys, and we're gonna talk about it. Sit back, relax, get your drinks, and let's talk about it.
When I was young, I found an orphaned wolf cub in the forest behind our farm.
Miss Marvel.
I felt if I could instill rules, the proper boundaries, I could harness the raw power of that beast. A few months later, while hunting, the adolescent cub turned on me.
Yo, this looks so good.
We're fixing the damage the Avengers did all those years ago. Inhumans are sick. Unlimited power, that's dangerous. It's lethal. You are lucky to be alive. Come on, Kamala. Let AIM help you.
I'll take my chances. What if the Avengers were set up?
This helicarrier, this is supposed to serve as like this is supposed to serve as your base of operations. I like how you can like upgrade it and stuff like that. It's pretty dope. They're gonna get into it. Like they're gonna explain everything.
I think you should see for yourself.
That's Bruce Banner.
Couldn't Mr. Stark help us with this?
Hi, I'm sorry. Who are you?
Kamala?
This better be good.
He totally locked Cap in the reactor room and then he tried to jack the Chimera.
Son of a...
Have you all completely lost your senses?
Well, where were you while the...
Yo, that definitely sounds like Thor. That's definitely a Thor sounding cat. Like whoever does the voice for Thor, I forgot his name. He got that down pat. It's funny too. Yo, Andre 6K, what's good, bro? I think it's funny because I think the voice of Thor actually might have been the voice actor for the Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Marvel vs. Capcom, well, the games that Thor was in. It sounds like him. Like the voices sound similar.
The world went to hell.
This is our fault. All of ours. You really think the world is better without us?
Yes. See, it's always been your problem. Running from who you are, what you are. I am warning you.
This is exactly what
Hey. Yo, they go my boy. I'm sorry. They go my boy. Hulk is the best. Never mind what other people might say. Hulk is the best character in Marvel. Strongest. He the best. I don't want to hear it.
You struggle against the unstoppable tide of progress, Avengers. Power cannot be controlled.
That looked like Abomination.
Destroyed. I will rid the Earth of superpowers, even if it has to end with me.
MODOK. Yo, I'm hyped that they doing MODOK, man. Like I really am hyped because like you never really see MODOK. You never really see MODOK in anything. Like you know he hasn't been front and center in a lot of different in stuff, especially as of recently when it comes to games. So it's really dope to see. It's really dope to see him be like the main villain in the game. Yo, Corey, what's good? This game is going to disappoint people who are looking at the cinematics and did not see the full game. Yo, Corey, I thought the gameplay was cool. We're gonna see the gameplay in a second. Yo, Rollo, oh you Hulk all day, bruh. Hulk boys out here.
What's up, Marvel fans? My name's Casey Lynch, and I'm editorial director at Crystal Dynamics. Marvel's Avengers War Table is your direct source
Big Avell,
for
what's
all
good,
things
bro?
Marvel's Avengers. We've got a great show lined up with new trailers, new details on one of our main villains, MODOK, and advanced idea mechanics.
One of their main villains. keep that in mind. Yo, Link, what's good, bro? One of the main villains, meaning that there is definitely going to be a good villain pool in this game. I hope.
And we'll take a first look at co-op and war zones. If you've ever thought, what is this game? Or how does it work? Then this is the show for you. Let's get into it, starting with a story trailer. In the aftermath of A-Day, everything changed.
You so-called heroes transformed San Francisco into an infectious, gas-filled quarantine zone. You unleashed disease.
Yo, Guapzilla, what's good, bro?
Wreak havoc throughout our nation. So I ask you again, Dr. Banner, do the Avengers pose a danger to society?
Yes.
I can promise you this. I will use this second chance to make you safe. AIM will find a cure for the inhuman disease.
This is the end of the Avengers.
As a founding member of tech giant Advanced Idea Mechanics, or AIM, George Tarleton dreamt of a world made better through science. But even as AIM promises a cure to end the inhuman infection, and the revolutionary Adaptoid project offers a world protected by science, Tarleton, a victim of A-Day himself, uses AIM's technological might and the public's fear of Inhumans to convince the world that the superpowered are uncontrollable and cannot be trusted. His deranged obsession drives him to become MODOK, mental organism designed only for killing. When choosing a villain, we knew we needed someone who had the muscle and mental capacity to become an Avengers-level threat. We also wanted a new face for modern Avengers fans.
Yo, this might actually be... Yo, Levin, what's good? Appreciate you coming through. Caleb Kaiser, what's good? Omar, what's good? You know why I also like that they use MODOK? Because MODOK is actually a very strong villain. And, you know... He was in the Marvel. It's funny because he was in the Marvel vs. Capcom fighting game as well. He is a good villain. When I think back when MODOK, I know that he had run-ins with Captain America. I know he had run-ins with the Hulk and a couple of the other Avengers. So I wonder if they're going to, with him being in the game, with the new phase of Marvel MCU, will we be seeing will MODOK be like this Omega? I mean, he ain't no Omega level villain, but will he be some type of villain in the movies? Like, this could be a good setup. Like, cause Marvel, they always move very calculated with what they do, right? A lot of the characters from the Marvel vs. Capcom fighting game, they actually ended up being within movies. So I can see MODOK being a villain in one of these movies.
Big face. But comic fans know MODOK is anything but new. His origin in Marvel lore dates back more than 50 years to October of 1967 in Tales of Suspense. Now, with AIM's drive to...
Even though he was in... His main run-in was with the Hulk, though. Let me go back. Even though... Because he had his run-in with Captain America, Iron Man, and Hulk. His main... Like, the bulk of his... Like, the villains that he's fought... Hulk was definitely, like, one of the main ones that ran into MODOK quite a bit. So, yeah.
50 years to October of 1967 in Tales of Suspense. Now, with AIM's drive to manipulate public fear and his ability to control machines with his mind, Tarleton and AIM are the most sophisticated threat the Avengers have ever faced. But a teenage fangirl named Kamala Khan doesn't trust AIM.
Miss Marvel.
In fact, she's convinced that AIM is experimenting on her fellow Inhumans under the guise of finding a cure. And she believes George Tarleton was behind the plot to discredit the Avengers.
Yo, you know what's funny about this, guys? You see how they're explaining... Like, one thing I like about this live stream is they're doing a good job of three things. They're explaining the story to you, right? They're explaining the story. They're explaining the concept. They're explaining what's going. They're doing a really good job of explaining a lot of things to people. And I feel like a lot of it's gonna be somebody that's like, oh well, I still don't know what we're doing here. What's the point of the game? It's like, yo, they're explaining to you. Plus, if we look right here, if you look at the little in the background, we see Captain Marvel right here. Like, she's got a Captain Marvel. For those that don't know, Kamala Khan is Miss Marvel. And, this, you know, she's got a poster of Captain Marvel right up here. So we might be seeing Captain Marvel in this game at some point. That might be a hint at Captain Marvel being in the game.
And she has proof. As you pick up the trail of the long-disbanded Avengers, you'll advance the story of the single-player campaign, unlocking more and more hero-specific missions. We know you've been asking for new gameplay that's not from A-Day. We hear you. So here's a playthrough of part of a new Thor hero mission called Once an Avenger.
Now I know Bari, because I was talking to Bari while this live stream was happening. And Bari was hyped because it was Thor. I'm like, yo, you guys disrespecting Hulk, right? Next time, Crystal Dynamics, you do one of these war tables, Hulk better be the center of attention. I do not like how Thor was the center of attention. You're getting background, foreground, and present ground. Exactly, Cyber Dragon, 100%. Nah, I mean, it looks like, I don't know, like as like a comic book fan, as like a Marvel fan, it looked good to me. I don't know. Maybe it's me. We're gonna talk about it like as we watch. But it looked good to me.
We're here live at the AIM experience in Manhattan, witnessing the return of the Avengers, but they appear to be attacking the city. Keep rolling, keep rolling. Is it any coincidence that this attack comes on the very day that AIM is supposed to unveil
right, Cyber Dragon, none of that Thor business.
Oh.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You should know, I'm not in the best of moods.
Wait, is that Thor?
Yeah, that's
Holy
Thor.
Crap, Thor! Where the hell did you come from?
I was serving a
Now, I know some people were saying hopefully the frame rate is better with the PS5 update. Yeah, I mean, they said that it's gonna have a performance mode, so 60 frames per second. I'm assuming. So, yeah, there'll definitely be 60 frames per second. But I know a lot of people were complaining about like how his hammers sound when it was hitting the enemies. Let me know what do you guys think? Like you gonna hear his hammer hitting the enemies. Let me know what you guys think.
Ominous when it started raining bolts of metal from the skies.
It's unbelievably good to see you.
A bit dramatic, don't you think?
It doesn't matter. He's here now.
So the false god returns.
I think people. I mean, to me, the hammer hitting the enemies. I mean, these are metal enemies, so it's metal hitting metal. I mean, I don't know. I listened to it and I didn't really have that big of a problem. And I know people were saying like the combat with Thor looked a little. They weren't really that impressed. I think what people also have to keep in mind is, you know, one, Thor's a big dude. He's swinging this big heavy ass hammer. I don't think, you know, he's gonna be moving like Flash. You know, like Thor is a weighty character. You know, so I when I seen how he was fighting and how he was moving, it looked like he did move with some weight to it. But to me, I think that's a good thing because, again, you know, if he was moving like Flash, I'm like, what is this? I would be like, if he was moving like as quick as Flash or something like that, I'm like, I would be like, what is this? Like, you know, Thor isn't that quick, you know, like Thor is not moving with the speed of light type shit. You feel me? Like he can fly fast and all that, but this man's not moving like Flash. So, you know, him having that weight to him and stuff like that, I didn't see a problem. But let's continue.
You did what you were supposed to.
Oh, Six said, I think gamers just look for anything to be upset about nowadays. Yo, that's a fact, man. Yo, Caleb said, this is cool, but he's not the best. I prefer Iron Man. I prefer Hulk, so I'm right there with you, Caleb.
To do, Thor. You gave up your
should have stayed forgotten.
Never, when mortals are at peril. Where do you hide, Doctor? Can you not face me?
I'm also like, what sound? Yo, Dwayne, what's good, man? I'm also like, what sound do these guys want the hammer to make? Like, I would need somebody to provide me like an example of a sound that they would want the hammer to make when it's hitting enemies. Because I don't know, like, if it was making some type of crunch noise or something, I feel like that would sound stupid. I don't know. Maybe it's me, guys. Like, I want somebody that doesn't like how it sounds when he's using the hammer. I want them to provide me with a sound example of how it should sound. So that because honestly, I didn't have an issue. Now, his moveset, it looks pretty, pretty standard at first. But they're gonna start diving into like the different moves that he can do. You know that you're gonna have your standard light attacks and heavy attacks and stuff like that, and you can combo with different moves and stuff like that too. And obviously, throwing a hammer like what he's doing now, you know that you can do that. Call down lightning, you know he can do that. The usual stuff is there, but they're gonna dive in a second here. They're gonna dive into more of what he can do.
Hello. Just like old times.
There go my boy Hulk.
Aim dropships inbound.
I see them.
Focus on those mechs.
Oh.
Kamala, you okay?
That little red that came around the enemy when he was about the little red circle that came around the enemy when he was about to grab Thor. I'm thinking that's like, that's definitely like an indicator to let you know that that's probably a move that you can't like parry or block or something like that. It's probably an indicator like, yo, look, this is a grab or whatever, or like an unblockable or something like that. They want the hammer to sound like 2 soda bottles hitting. Yo, caution, chill. Thor is good at long range attacks. Yes, he is, Andre, 100%. I have to give them credit too. There's actually a pretty good enemy selection here with aim.
Don't worry, she's up to it.
Now you see what he did there? I'm thinking because when he grabbed him and he used the lightning on him, you saw that some green, like a green aura kind of came around him. I'm thinking that's like a, like he's taking the electricity from them to gain health back. So that's probably like a move for him to gain health back. Look, when he grabs him, you see how he's electrified. He takes the electricity from him. And then that's definitely him gaining health back. Yeah, the game looked fun to me, man. Listen, I like the game. The game's definitely getting bought. It's already pre-ordered.
Tear the ship apart.
That looks like an AoE attack that he's doing because you see the electricity underneath him. So that was what you saw there was a combo attack between him and Hulk. So, and they're gonna talk about it later in the game, but later in the show. But you can do like combo attacks where you and it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys play Marvel Alliance. It's kind of like that where like you and a teammate can do like combo attacks and do different stuff and things like that. So that's what that was. Pretty cool.
You killed Captain America, Thor. Who else will fall before your hammer?
Silence!
Oh, you getting messed up there a little bit, Thor. What you doing? There go his hammer swing, his hammer spin up move, which I think is pretty dope. That's a fact, Andre. Look, there you go, another team move. Here come Iron Man.
Thor, update on those mechs. We're losing power fast.
They're sturdy. I'll give them that.
Iron Man is definitely a ranged character for sure as well.
We're the terrorists in this AIM experience story.
Not on my watch. The Chimera can't go down. Not again.
Hold down that lightning, man. Yo, this looks dope. Now, that move that he did, where he called down the lightning and it was like continuous lightning and stuff like that, that's definitely an ultimate. And they're going to talk about that later in the show, but like ultimates is, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory actually. It's an ultimate. And it just looked dope because he was swinging a hammer and I don't know, I like it.
Got my hands full, kid. I'm on them. Nice. Security subsystems just came back online. It's working.
Can you enable lockdown?
Already working on it.
It's funny because like I know that Thor, this is how he fights or whatever, but when I see Thor fight a little bit, like when he throws a hammer and throwing it at enemies and stuff, I keep thinking of Kratos.
I can handle the large one myself.
You don't have to. That's the whole point.
Yo, he getting washed. Go on, Hulk. There you go.
Guys, the Chimera can't take much more of this.
They did a lot of damage down in the engine room.
Tarleton, do not do this!
You've given me no choice. You'll find this shield familiar, Stark.
How original. You gonna steal my haircut next?
The damage has already been done, Avengers.
Open the Bifrost!
Yo, that Bifrost move is dope as hell, bruh. I'm not gonna lie, when I seen that Bifrost move, I was definitely like, yo, this is fire. This is dope.
Kamala, Tony,
We're trying to restart the engines, but there's not enough power.
we're out of time, people. Brace for impact.
Look at my boy Hulk.
God of Thunder.
Stay behind me.
Now, bring it. Keep going. It's working.
Pull up!
Damn, that was dope. I really like that. Yeah,
Once an
it's got
Avenger
a
is a
name
great
tag that says
example of a
D.
hero
Blake,
mission,
D.
a
Blake, I think.
single-player campaign experience focusing on a specific playable character. Hero missions give us a chance to tell more of each hero's story and showcase the variety and depth of our hero designs. Let's take a quick look at how Thor plays. With the game's combat systems, players can string together combos of heavy and light attacks, or hold for signature attacks. Combat versatility is one of Thor's strengths, from making use of Mjolnir to pin enemies from a distance, or bringing the sky down on his foes. In addition to core combat moves, the God of Thunder.
You see, so here, I love like when people like I love games that have like expansive like move list and you can really like build out characters and use different moves and stuff like this. So like we see he's got the melee section, he's got the range, intrinsic abilities, intrinsic overcharge, which more than likely adds it adds like different effects to maybe his ultimate or something like that. So this one here, impact explosion, range specialization. You hold down the trigger to charge tornado throw and cause the hammer to spawn a series of lightning explosions. On impact, it disables the ability to pin combatants. And it requires a tornado throw skill. This looks, I like this. And you can level him up. It's got a power. He's got like a power level. Then he's got his regular level. Objective, skills, gear, cosmetics, collection, social. I'm digging the layout, and I'm digging how they really let you build out. And this is in mastery, so he's got primary. This is They got primary, specialty, and then mastery. This is the way it looks here. This is the mastery section of his move sets. We don't see what primary and specialty are, but we, having that level of detail or having that level of customization, being able to upgrade the skills and stuff like that, I definitely want to see what's in this primary and specialty. But there's definitely 3 different sections that you can choose from. Now, can you max out everything? That's definitely something that I want to know as well. Or is it where you have to kind of pick and choose with like what you use here and what you use there? Can you respec meaning not respect as in like respect me, respec as in like take all your skill points back and put them into new slots and stuff like that. It'll be interesting to see like how this plays out. I'm excited.
Has a wide variety of skills to unlock that give him access to classic moves. This is one of our favorites, manual targeting. We largely drew our influence from writer Jason Aaron's run on the Mighty Thor comic. Manual targeting allows you to quickly mark your enemies for bullseyes with Mjolnir, and one by one, you can mark them and knock them down as Mjolnir comes back to you. Follow that up with a powerful ground pound, and you've got a mighty combo.
That's pretty dope.
Manual targeting is a great ranged attack, but if up close and personal is more your style, go with the hammer spin or Mjolnir Cyclone.
That Mjolnir Cyclone was pretty dope.
Heroes have 3 special heroic moves: Assault, Ultimate, and Support.
Look at my boy Hulk.
When designing our heroics, we started with the signature moves from the comics and movies that we've always wanted to play. The Assault heroic charges the fastest, and in some cases, you can store multiple charges to use strategically as a part of your combos. You can perform these after charging your heroic.
Yo, Kamala
meters
Khan
with
look
normal
dope.
attacks.
Look at my
For
boy
instance,
Hulk. Let's go.
Natasha's Assault heroic is Widow's Bite, which is an electroshock projectile move you might recognize. You can see Nat using it right here.
You know what I love too about this like presentation? They're like letting you know which comic books they're pulling these moves from. Like they really are doing their homework. And this is why I'm saying like this presentation that they did was probably like one of the best next to the PlayStation 5 so far from everything we've seen from like Summer Game Fest and all these game streams and stuff. This is definitely like top 3 right now, part of the top 3, because they are doing such a good job of showing gameplay and also educating the viewer. Like for those that might not really know like comics or not really know like superheroes or whatever, but may still be interested in the game, they're doing a good job of like really educating them as well. So that shout out to Crystal Dynamics.
Each hero also has a unique support heroic that's designed to enhance co-op and team play. For example, Thor's support, Warrior's Fury, lets him channel the power of the gods to supercharge his Odin force and grants a period of invulnerability for nearby team members. You can see this in action when Iron Man gets the buff as he flies through Thor's support. Ultimates take longer to charge, but they're definitely worth the wait. They have more screen clearing power, and some even have residual effects, like Thor's Bifrost Ultimate. Thor's ultimate heroic channels the power of the 9 realms, and his Bifrost taps into Muspelheim to bypass unbreakable shields, allowing Thor to use the power of the Bifrost Bridge to do maximum damage.
Yo, When We Meet was good. Yeah, it's got co-op. Dwayne, I don't know who will be my favorite character. Again, the trailer makes this all seem hype, but to see the gameplay in real time, this game is a hard pass for me. Damn, I respect it, Corey.
We know everyone plays differently, so we have melee, ranged, aerial, and ground combat skills to tailor your hero to your playstyle.
Look at my boy Hulk, bruh. Yo, let me see. So he's got this hammerhead move while sprinting to quickly lunge forward into the air and come down hard. Pause. Creating a shallow shockwave that extends out several meters, damaging anyone caught in its wake. Damage impacts medium, stuns low, reactions knockdown. I definitely think you're gonna have to wait based off what they're talking about and how you can set things up. I'm thinking that you're gonna have to really pick and choose what you like upgrade or what you unlock. And it looks like, or it feels like, you can build out like loadouts almost like to kind of tailor how you play. Which, again, I really do like that. And, when this game comes out, I'll definitely be streaming it and showing gameplay and all that. I'm going straight to Hulk. That's the first. That's I'm a Hulk fan. I love Hulk. Hulk has always been one of my favorite. I actually hope they have Wolverine. My favorite Marvel characters is Spider-Man, Hulk, and Wolverine. So, yeah, I'm gonna need them characters in the game.
Heroes earn experience, they gain access to new skills. Skill points allow you to unlock new moves, combos, and even new versions of attacks.
Okay.
As you build up your heroes, you begin to see how unlocking and mastering the separate core skills offers a ton of depth and variety on its own for every hero. And that's before gear, perks, artifacts.
Yeah, so there's different, this, I know, so they're going to have, like, different gears, and so there is, like, a gear loadout. You see, you got the loadout right here. I'm assuming these, like, little boxes on the side are either, like, how far upgraded it is, maybe, or, like, its rarity level or something like that. That's what that stuff on the side looks like, but, yeah, so you can have different gear loadouts. So I'm assuming if you can have gear loadouts, you can definitely have, like, move set loadouts, which again, I can't wait.
And any kind of later game progression.
Hell nah, Gambit cool
so
though.
Why is all of this important? Because it means your Thor will play differently than my Thor, and my Hulk will play different than yours. Another way to customize your heroes is with gear. We've previously talked about the different rarities and how perks will give you powerful modifiers for even more customization. Some perks apply special damage like plasma or gamma, or cause status effects like shrink, which will shrink enemies and reduce damage and defense. You can see Iron Man using gamma gear in this shot, and eagle-eyed fans probably noticed his laser sweep was green instead of red. Nope, that wasn't a bug. When you have gamma gear equipped, it grants a bonus damage modifier and changes the emissive color of your attack. And voila, green lasers. We know that if you look good, you'll play good.
How many characters are there? It's the Avengers, so it's probably like 6, maybe, I want to say. It might be more, though. I know Kamala's there, Hulk. So it's Captain America, Hulk, Black Widow, Kamala, Thor, Iron Man. That's it right now. There might be more, though. I know they said that there was going to be... They were going to have room for, like, more characters, or they're going to, this just isn't the end. Because I know Hank Pym is in here. And I remember seeing that there was some other characters in here. But we'll see. Like, in terms of playable characters, I would have to imagine building out these different move sets and, like, having these skills and stuff like that. That takes a lot of time. And that takes, like, a lot of work. So, I'm assuming that the player pool... Not player pool, but like the selection of characters that you can choose from when the game first comes out. I'm gonna say we might have like 7 or 8 characters to choose from, because you got to remember this is also a story. Like, they're telling a story here with everything that was going on with when they were what was it? The first trailer that they showed when they were on a mission and then the mission went bad, right? They're also trying to tell a story, and all the characters in this that you can choose from, I think, also fit into the story. So it might be like 5 or 6 characters that you're choosing from, just because, like, they all fit within the story. Now, that's not to say that there won't be DLC characters and stuff like that later on, or they may add more characters, because they said everything that they're adding is going to be free. He's going to say it later in this thing, but we'll see.
The Crystal team has really enjoyed creating all new outfits for these heroes and drawing from Marvel's 80-year history to bring so many classic outfits to the game. Each hero has dozens of outfits drawn from some of the most recognizable eras and story arcs. You can earn them over the course of the story campaign by completing missions and deciphering patterns. There's Iron Man's suit from the 2014 Original Sin storyline, or Donald Blake, which is a nod to an alias of Thor's who first appeared in 1962's Journey into Mystery issue 83, or Tony's Stark Tech outfit that was inspired by the Bleeding Edge armor that first appeared in Invincible Iron Man.
The Bleeding Edge armor is such a good armor. I've always liked the Bleeding Edge armor a lot, actually.
At number 25 in 2010. While there are a ton of outfits you'll earn just by playing, some will require completing iconic mission chains to earn each hero's iconic outfit. And some outfits will only be available in our online marketplace. You can even customize your attitude and let out your inner Hulk.
Yo,
with the
Jose
right
was
emote.
good, bro. Hulk for life. That's a
I
fact.
think that's canon. Those are just some of the ways you'll be able to build and spec out your heroes. Okay, I think it's time for another trailer. This one gives us a first look at how all that customization is especially fun when you play together.
Yeah,
This
so there is co-op.
and
Co-op
Warzones.
and Warzones. And we know that co-op is also it's AI controlled, or I think you can play with different players.
On the Air Force!
These adaptoids of his, they harvest their powers through the torture of these Inhumans.
Georgie Boy is gearing up for war. Programmable power under our control. No more heroes.
The entire world is in terrible danger. Time is here.
I could pull some strings
Chillin',
to
bro.
spruce up
Appreciate
the
you
armory.
coming through,
Get
man.
ourselves some new toys to play with. Dangerous ones.
I'm picking up something in the atmosphere, a derivative of Terrigen.
I'm here. Who needs their ass kicked?
Very air reeks of dark magic.
Kamala, smash!
Everyone smash!
Yeah, they go home. Yeah, I like that there's like a lot going on the screen. Like there's so much happening. It's so great to see. Like I can't wait to get my hands on this game for sure. And I'm definitely playing it on PS5 as well. Like it's being bored, but I just like how just look, like there's so much happening on the screen. Like there's a lot going on. So like I can imagine that battles are definitely going to be real intense, especially if there's like difficulty modes that you can choose. Like I'm pretty sure there's gonna be like a hard mode or like a grandmaster mode or something like that, or like harder difficulties that you could take on and harder challenges. Those are the things that I'm really interested in. So like it's a day one for me.
We gotta get this bird in the air before AIM comes looking for us.
Jarvis is unencrypting the schematics and we'll get our tech heads on new gear ASAP.
I don't know. To me, it looks like they're doing a good job. Like they're definitely going in the right direction with this game. There we go, Hulk. I get hyped when I see Hulk, man. I'm sorry, I get so hyped. Hulk is just so good, man.
If I don't stop them, it's just one more thing to regret on my deathbed.
Nick Fury.
You want to see powers? Here we go.
Time for heroes is over.
You don't get to decide who lives or dies!
Black Widow's gonna be the least played character. The Hulkbuster. There you go.
So far, we've talked about the story, hero missions, and customization. Now, let's talk about Warzones. Warzones are missions which you can play with up to a total of 4 players or solo with an AI companion team made up of your unlocked and leveled heroes. Whether playing hero missions or Warzones, you always make forward progress with your heroes. On your helicarrier, you'll use the war table to launch missions with a variety of objectives and challenges. As you saw in the co-op trailer, each mission is grounded in story. So whether you're in the campaign or Warzones,
Oh yeah,
you're
so you
always
can choose like the difficulty. You see, let me go back a second. I didn't even pick up on that. So yeah, so you see, you can choose the difficulty of normal. So I'm guessing it's gonna be a normal, easy, normal, hard, or very hard, or whatever. Episode. I recommend seeing the actual stream from yesterday where they show full gameplay. The trailers are a little misleading. This is the actual stream. This isn't yo Corey. This was the stream that they played yesterday. This isn't no trailer. This is the actual stream. Straight up. This is the stream. Hold on. Let me this is the June Marvel Avengers war table. Watch your first Avengers war table story. Yeah, this is the stream. This ain't no. This ain't. You know, to me it looks good.
Campaign or war zones, you're always working together to stop, aim, and rebuild.
Yo, real talk, my second character too, like outside of Hulk is definitely number one. I really think I'm gonna play with Kamala Khan as my secondary because like she looks really fun to use in this game. Like I really like how they did her. They really did her right. They really did her good, and I don't know. She just looks really fun to use. I definitely think I'm using Kamala Khan as my secondary.
Build the resistance. You get missions from Jarvis, Maria Hill, Hank Pym, and more characters from Marvel history.
Remember what they said? You get missions from who? Jarvis, Maria Hill, and Hank Pym. Oops.
Together to stop, aim, and rebuild the resistance. You get missions from Jarvis, Maria Hill, Hank Pym, and more characters from Marvel history.
So, you know, more characters from Marvel history. So I think it's safe to say that they will be now I don't know if these other characters from Marvel history will also be playable. I can't see. I don't, you know, obviously Jarvis I don't think isn't going to be playable. You know, neither will, you know, Maria Hill and Hank Pym, no. But, you know, the other characters that they might be talking about, they might be playable. We don't know. So, you know, it'll be like I said, I'm glad with what they've shown us so far, and it looks great. But let's finish up before I give my full thoughts.
Once you pick your mission, you'll board the Quinjet, where you can matchmake, switch heroes, choose your loadout, and of course, pick the right look and attitude for the job.
Hey, there you go.
As you start playing missions across the globe, you'll realize AIM has entrenched themselves in cities and remote locations alike, all in the name of research. War zones range from wide open spaces designed for exploration and team traversal to dense interiors with a variety of objective-based challenges, boss fights, and rewards. Here's a mission we saw in the co-op trailer called To Tame a Titan, where we can see some team play. There's this cool shot of Iron Man, but you may have missed Kamala and Hulk performing a team finisher on that poor guy back there.
This is why, listen, this is this is why I'm saying that Kamala Khan and Hulk definitely gonna be my two mains, because they doing they're doing team killing and all this stuff. Like, they look dope together. You see how she got big and she starts stomping on old boy?
Where we can see
Look
some
at that.
team play. There's this cool shot of Iron Man, but you may have missed Kamala and Hulk performing a team finisher on that poor guy back there. When you max out some larger enemies' stun meter, two heroes can come together to perform a team finisher.
I'm sorry,
which gives
Kamala
you a chance to take them
disrespectful
down
with it,
much faster. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Kamala
Living the hero
disrespectful
life
with
is
it.
all
She's
about
just as
growth,
disrespectful
getting
as Hulk.
stronger and better equipped to play smarter, and there are plenty of upgrades to help you do just that. As you progress through the campaign, you'll also be rebuilding and upgrading the Chimera, your helicarrier, which is your own flying base. The Resistance is a group who have banded together in the 5 years since A-Day. Some are inhuman and have powers. Some are former SHIELD agents who refuse to pledge allegiance to AIM, and some just want to help.
What is this place?
We call it the Anthill. Not my idea.
You'll join their cause in the field by working directly with factions like the Inhuman Alliance and SHIELD agents Dum Dum Dugan, Nick Fury, and more. Earning faction reputation will give you access to new challenges,
Hey, Avengers. Hill has something she needs your help with.
new vendors, and more powerful items. There will always be new threats on the horizon, so you want to ensure your Avengers are ready for anything.
Yo, Matador,
We've
what's
talked about
good?
a lot today, but that's kind of the point. This is a really big, ambitious game. Marvel's Avengers isn't just a global, high-stakes race to rebuild the Avengers, to save the Inhumans, and uncover the truth about AIM's plans. That's just the beginning. This is a brand new original Avengers single-player story that you can enjoy on your own, made the Crystal Dynamics way. But it's also an experience you can play with your friends that will grow as we add new heroes, new regions, and new story, all at no additional cost. Thank you for following us and believing in us. I want to give a big shout out to our community. Thank you for caring and telling us what you think. We're listening, and as fans ourselves, we're all working every day to make Marvel's Avengers worthy of your support. Please stick around after the show to ask questions and chat.
No.
On behalf of the whole Marvel's Avengers team, thank you for tuning in to the first Marvel's Avengers War Table. In the coming months, we'll talk about our first post-launch hero.
So there is going to be, I think, who was asking about that? Was it Corey? I know somebody in the chat was asking about, will there be more heroes? So we're getting confirmation now that there will be more heroes post-launch. So that's good.
Our upcoming beta.
The beta, I'm hype about that. I think if you pre-order digitally, you automatically get access to the beta. I'm not sure if you can sign up for it, though.
And, of course, our launch, when Marvel's Avengers arrives September 4th. I'm Casey Lynch, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Casey. Appreciate you. You have served your purpose. Yo, AI, what's going on? How you doing? Appreciate you coming through. So I'm gonna lay it out like this. Because I know there was a couple people in the chat that just weren't, they're not feeling it. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure. It's, everyone's entitled to their opinion. For me, this game looks so great. Like it looks, you know what it is? It looks fun. I think that's like when I'm watching the gameplay, I just like, yo, this looks so fun to play. And I can't wait to get my hands on this so that I can play, because it really does look like a really, really, really fun game. Like, no lie, it looks really fun. So I think for me, when it comes to this game, and again, like I'm a big Marvel fan, I'm a big, Avengers fan, that stuff is also playing into it. But, when I look at the combat, when I'm looking at the gameplay, when I'm looking at the movesets, when I'm looking at like how they interact, and when Casey Lynch was explaining like how they're going to be doing the game and how things are happening, for me it looks great. Like it looks right up my alley. It's definitely something that I see myself playing. It's definitely something that I see myself putting a lot of time into, right? So for me, the Avengers gameplay was 10 out of 10. It was spot on. I know there was a lot of people not a lot, but I did see a couple people in the community that were like, oh, his hammer sounds weird, and oh, this looks boring. This doesn't really look that great. And I guess my question to those people is, what are you looking for? And I ask this because I honestly don't know what people are looking for anymore when it comes to video games. Like, what are you looking for? And everyone's not going to like every game, and we get that. Fine. Everyone's not meant to like everything, but I'm curious as to what is it about this game that it's just not, oh, this is not something that I'm into. But for me, the stream was great. They definitely got that PlayStation formula down. Like they definitely got that PlayStation formula down pack, because they were talking. There was talking, but they had it was the right amount of talking and the right amount of gameplay. Like they hit the nail on the head with both, and it was just so smooth. They did a great job of explaining everything. Not a whole lot of riff-raff and idle talking about nonsense. They got straight to the point. They educated the viewer. They explained what their vision was. They showed you what it is they were trying to do. They like, I left this stream thinking, okay, this is definitely, like, I know what I need to know about this game. Like it's you explained everything to me. All the questions I have, what more I wanted to know about the game, they laid it all out on the table, and they answered every question that I had. So, in that, when it comes to the stream, 10 out of 10. The gameplay for me, is for me, guys. Again, the gameplay is a 10 out of 10. The gameplay looks great. It really looks fun. In terms of Hulk looks great. He looks really fun to use. You definitely gonna be seeing me picking up dudes and throwing them across the room and swinging people around and Hulk smash, and hands down, right? I know Bari is a big Thor fan, so I know when I was talking to him the other day, he was definitely loving the Thor gameplay. Thor's gameplay was really dope. I really did like Thor's gameplay. He definitely seems like a character. It's not really up my alley in terms of like how I play. Like he's definitely, but I definitely can see myself playing him too, though. But Iron Man, like they all looked good. It's funny because their move sets all look different. Like no one character looked like they fought the same. You get what I'm saying? Which I like. You could definitely see the individuality between the characters, which was great. And the upgrade system with the skills and the skill tree and stuff like that. Again, I love getting entrenched in that type of stuff because I love doing customizations, and I love doing that type of stuff in video games. So, that portion of it as well, I'm like, okay, this is definitely something that I can see myself. I could definitely see myself getting entrenched in this as well. So skills and customization and stuff like that, 10 out of 10. Yeah, for me, it's a day one buy. It's day one. I've got it pre-ordered on the PlayStation. It's a day one. I'm playing it on PS4, and then when the PS5 comes out, I'll definitely be playing it there as well. So for me, I'm good. I'm excited, right? So yeah, like let me know what you guys are thinking. Are y'all picking it up? Sick Human said I asked the same thing. Persona. Yeah, Sick, man. I'm like for me, like, the console war stuff and all that stuff is fun. Don't get it twisted. That stuff is definitely, it's got its entertaining and stuff like that. Like, don't get it twisted. But I really think that some of these people really just hate video games. Cause like, I don't know, like, I just wonder, like, what do you want? Like, what do you want to see? Like, what do you want to see different? And it's funny because when I ask that sometimes people can't answer that. It's like, oh, I don't know. I just want to see something different. Like what? Like what? Like what do you want to see different? That's kind of like how I'm thinking. Cause like, I don't know. For me, it looks fun. The game looks fun. Is it this, technical marvel? No pun intended. Is this like, the most beautiful game to ever be created? Nah, not at all. But I'm not going into this game looking at that, right? That's not the first thing that's on my mind when it comes to this game. You feel me? So for me, seeing the game and seeing the gameplay and having them explain everything, it checked off all boxes for me. Guabzilla says, imagine this game going head to head with Spider-Man Miles Morales at PS5 launch. See, but that's not fair. But that's the thing. Even if this game was to go head to head with Miles Morales, I'm still buying both. For me, at least. Like, for me, in my head, there is no head to head because I'm buying both. But for argument's sake, Guap, if these games were to go head to head, I mean, Miles Morales, we know Miles Morales is going to look great. I want to see actual gameplay. Like, we saw snippets of gameplay and it looks great. The world looks phenomenal. But then again, that's a game that's built. That's also not a fair, I feel like that's not a fair comparison because Spider-Man Miles Morales is being built from the ground up on the PlayStation 5 as opposed to Avengers being built for current gen and then also getting an update for next gen. So I don't think that's really a fair comparison. That's not fair. That's not fair. Now, if we were to say Spider-Man as in regular Spider-Man on PlayStation 4 and this, then I'm like, all right, Spider-Man looks better. But that's okay. You feel me? Yo, When We Meet was good. Yo, I think I told you this before, When We Meet, but that's a dope name, man. I like that name. Caleb says, Cyberpunk is day never. They have shown me nothing. Well, the gameplay that I saw with Cyberpunk, remember that hour-long gameplay they put out? Was it last year or the year before? I forgot when they put that out. That looked good. You know what it is with me? I'm picking up Cyberpunk. I am picking up Cyberpunk. My thing about Cyberpunk is I'm looking at, I tell you guys, I look at the track record, right? For me, I wasn't feeling Witcher 3. I wasn't feeling Witcher 3 that much. Like, I tried to play it. I couldn't get through this game. Like, the combat wasn't that great. I really wasn't feeling the story. Like, I can't play this game. I seriously can't. Right? I wasn't feeling it, right? So going into Cyberpunk, I'm not saying that I don't have faith in CD Projekt Red. I definitely have some faith in them, just because, and this is going to sound like super casual, but whatever. It has guns. It has guns in its first person, so it's really hard to mess that up. So for me, I'm really confident in Cyberpunk, like, you know, that it will be a good game for me, like a game that I'll definitely sink into, because it does look, you know, it's very vulgar, it's very violent. The story and what they want, you know, it seems interesting. The world seems very much alive. I think for that game, though, I think I'm buying that on PlayStation 5, because that world seems very ambitious. And since it's coming out in November, and we know that, you know, I think it's safe to assume that the PlayStation 5 is coming out in November as well. I'm not buying this on current gen. I'm definitely buying this on next gen. You know, get all that buttery smooth goodness and you know, get some of that next gen, put some of that next gen on it. You feel me? So, you know, I have faith in Cyberpunk. Just because it's first person and it's a shooter. And I like the RPG elements as well. AI says Cyberpunk is on sale, is an on sale purchase. I need it to be $30 at most. Damn. Oh no. I'm gonna give it a chance. El Matador says another pass is Cyberpunk, not feeling it neither. I get you. I can see why. AI says I don't like The Witcher. I've seen much better stories and the combat was annoying. Yo, this is what I'm saying, AI. I wasn't feeling that combat at all. I really was in the story. Maybe because I didn't play Witcher 1 and 2. Like I started at Witcher 3. It's the same thing with Fallout, right? I don't like Fallout either. And I started at Fallout 4. Like, I didn't play Fallout 3. I didn't play New Vegas or none of that. I didn't play those games. Like, but, you know, everyone is swearing by Fallout. This game is amazing, blah, blah, blah. When I bought Fallout, I'm just like, this is it? Like, this shit is trash. Like, I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it at all. And I'm just like, you know, all these people, I'm like, yo, you guys are swearing by this game. It was buggy. I was not feeling Fallout at all. Witcher, again, I started at Witcher 3. I didn't play Witcher 1. I didn't play Witcher 2. I went to, you know, I play Witcher 3. Again, oh, Witcher's such a great series, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, you know, I'll give it a try. I'm not feeling it. I wasn't feeling it. I'm like, I'm good. Same thing with Mass Effect Andromeda. I never played Mass Effect before. Like, I wasn't really... One thing, last gen, there was, like, specific games that I was playing. I wasn't really playing, like, a lot of these games, and I don't really like Western RPGs too much. I'm more of a JRPG type of player. I don't really like Western RPGs too much. There's certain ones that I can deal with if it's done right, but I'm more of a JRPG guy. I've always been. But Mass Effect Andromeda. That was the first Mass Effect I played. People were swearing by this Mass Effect. They were saying Mass Effect is a great series, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, It's fun. You know what though? Mass Effect Andromeda was okay, minus the bugs and the stuff that was broken about it. Mass Effect Andromeda was okay. I didn't finish it because, like, I don't know, it got boring after a while, but it was okay. Like, I'll give it that. Mass Effect Andromeda was okay. The underground, what is that? I forgot what you call it. Like the underground tombs and stuff like that you would explore on the different planets and stuff like that. That was fun. Like, I did like that stuff, and the weapons were pretty dope. But that was really it. Like, I don't know. Like, I was just like, I don't, the only Western RPG that I really like is Dragon Age. I do like Dragon Age, and I think Dragon Age Inquisition is such a great game. Such a great game. But yeah, so that's that, guys. Oh, yo, Bari in the building. Shout out to my boy Bari, man. Big round of applause to my boy Bari. Vedger, what's good, man? Appreciate you coming through, Vedger. Like, how many open world Cyberpunk games do we have? Like, those two things are just sellers. Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment, Vedger. Yeah, I think it's fair. It's definitely fair for you to make that assessment. Quanvo says W3, I think he means Witcher 3, was my first RPG and my favorite to date, so I'm getting Cyberpunk day one. Fair. Guapzilla says Witcher 3 main story wasn't that engaging. It still has the best side missions by far, and as an open world game, it's unequaled visually. I love the dismemberment in Witcher 3 as well. Rated R, Skyrim. The open world was okay. I mean, it is a beautiful game. I'm not gonna say Witcher's ugly. It does look great, but that ain't enough for me, man. Social Join says Cyberpunk and Marvel is a pass. I don't rate CD Red outside of The Last of Us 2 and D Ghost. What's D Ghost? I don't know. Ghost of Tsushima. Elden Ring was the only game I was looking forward to. I need to see some gameplay of that Elden Ring, but Elden Ring is definitely I'm not really big in, it's funny, I'm not big into Souls games. I'm not. That's another genre. Like, yo, it's certain genres last gen I wasn't messing with. Like Dark Souls, my first Dark Souls was Dark Souls 3. I didn't play Demon Souls. I am gonna get this new. It's funny too because I am gonna get Demon Souls on PlayStation 5. I'm definitely getting that for sure. Dark Souls. It's funny because I actually really enjoyed Dark Souls 3. Where did I leave off in Dark Souls 3? In Dark Souls 3, I think I left off. I fought the tree boss, and then I kind of just like stopped playing. But Dark Souls 3, I did like Dark Souls 3. Bloodborne, I did like Bloodborne, but I got stuck. With Bloodborne, I was at the area where the spider boss in the church, right? So I was like, yo, because I lost my souls. Then I had to farm. I ain't feel like farming the souls. This is like mad years ago, but because I didn't do the soul, I'm mad. I didn't do the souls glitch in Bloodborne, so I didn't have 3 million souls. So my character wasn't this beefed up guy going through the story. So I had lost all my souls, and I had to farm the souls. I didn't feel like farming the souls. Where I was at in the story, I'll show you guys one day too. I'll stream it. Where I'm at in the store in Bloodborne, it's like it's a boss and then it's these enemies and that's it. Like I can't go back or like I have to go forward. So I have to farm those enemies and keep going back to the soul world. I just don't feel like doing that, and I don't feel like restarting. So I just left Like I played through. I put time into Bloodborne. I played like half the game, right? I just don't feel like going back and farming the souls, man. I'm not farming the souls. I didn't feel like doing that, and I didn't feel like restarting the game. But I do want to beat Bloodborne before next gen, so I more than likely will just restart the game and just start over. I might stream that for you guys and let you guys watch me play that. But that's Bloodborne. But like a lot of these other games that like people swear by, Mass Effect, Witcher and all, I don't find these games, Fallout, I don't find these games good. I don't know. Maybe it's me. That's what I'm saying. Maybe it's me. I don't find these games good. I don't find these games fun. And maybe it's me. So the Souls games and like the Souls genre, I just never like. I like playing. It's funny. I like playing games on hard, like on hard difficulties. Hard. Like I have no issue with that. And I don't have. You know what it is with Souls games? I get too antsy. Yo, the finest. What's good? With Souls games, I get too antsy. So, like, you know, I know I got to parry here. I got to block here. I get antsy sometimes. And I'm like, yo, screw this, man. I'm not trying to play this. But I do sort of kind of like Souls games. I do. Dark Souls 3, like I said, was great. I love Sekiro. I love Sekiro. I do want to go back and beat that. That game is what's winning the vote right now on Twitter. If you haven't voted, make sure you go vote. It's my pinned tweet. If that does win though, I will start that game over from the beginning, and you know, I'll play that. Like that's what I'll, you know, I love Sekiro though. I love the parrying, the stealth. Sekiro, it's funny. If all games played like Sekiro, like the Souls games, I would be in love. Like Sekiro really does that soul-esque combat really well. And the story's really good, pretty good. I love the boss. The boss fights were really fun. I really did. Sekiro did it right. Nihon was decent as well. I like Nihon. It was pretty cool. AI says Horizon Zero Dawn is closer to Skyrim. But yeah, guys, let's move on. So my internet cut out for a second, guys. Can you guys hear me? You guys see me? Not see me, but you guys hear me? I know my internet just cut out for a second. I think I have a bad wire or something. But let's move on to this Shawn Layden article. Ooh. Let's talk about it, guys. All right, cool. Let's talk about it, guys. I'm sorry, guys and girls. I know we got some ladies in the chat. So, Shawn Layden, first off, shout out to game.biz, gamingindustry.biz, man. They have some pretty interesting interviews and articles and stuff. I read their stuff pretty often. Yeah, but the first two letters, no, yo, Arsenic, you trying to start stuff, bruh. The first two letters in her name is AI, Akumu. So I just call her AI. Yo, Arsenic, get out of here, bruh. What's good, though? Appreciate you coming through, Arsenic. But, so Shawn Layden, my man, first off, shout out to my boy Shawn Layden, man. Shawn Layden, it hurt me when he left PlayStation. It hurt. I met Shawn Layden at PlayStation Experience. PlayStation Experience. He's a really nice, very approachable guy. I'm hoping one day I can get him on the show and we can talk about gaming, talk about, his tenure at PlayStation. I'm hoping one day I can get him on the show. If I can get Shawn Layden on the show, man, that would definitely make my day, right? But I know, like, I don't want to bug him or bother him and be like, hey man, come on my show. Like, he don't know. If I was like, yo, look, you remember me from PlayStation Experience? He probably don't remember me either, but I'll try to get him on the show one day. That would be great. But, Shawn Layden had an interview with, PlayStation.biz. And, or I think he might have had the interview here, or they're just writing about what he spoke about. Anyway, and it says, I would welcome a return to 12 to 15 hour AAA games. Now, the article itself has some really good points that I want to talk about because, I was talking about this the other day with, El Matador and, Omar and a couple other people, right? So, one thing that I think people have to understand, right? Because a part of me agrees with Shawn Layden, but then the other part of me is also like, I want the developers to create what they create, right? Yo, shout out to Shawn Layden with the beard though, man. He got that official beard. That joint is official. He got that quarantine beard. But when it comes to well, let me read this quote first. I think this is it right here. I'm reading the article and talking to you guys at the same time, so I don't want to mess up my train of thoughts. So here we go. Okay, it starts from here. So let's start reading from up here, right? We'll start from right here because he speaks about something that I've been saying for quite some time. Yo, Nick Coop, what's good, man? Appreciate you coming through. He speaks to something that I've said this before, and I agree with this 100%, right? So he says the problem with the model is it's just not sustainable. He says, explaining that the current generation has seen the cost of development reach $80 to $150 million for most AAA games, excluding marketing costs. Now that in itself, I'm like, wait a second. Because a part of me, like this part right here kind of had me in. Hold on. Sorry, I'm talking a lot, so I had to cough. But this part of me, this part right here actually like kind of had me like, whoa, wait, what? Because, excluding marketing costs, a part of me thought that, that 80 or 150 million, that, that 150 million, part of that, I thought a part of that would have been marketing costs as well. But for him, and who's going to say Shawn Layden is wrong? This man was the head of PlayStation. And there's going to be somebody that's going to say, oh, Shawn Layden don't know what he's talking about with, or he's lying about the budgeting or whatever. Somebody's going to say that. Right? So excluding marketing costs, I'm like, whoa, okay. Okay. That's actually pretty eye-opening. But anyway, let's continue. So he says excluding marketing costs with production taking up to 5 years from start to finish. I don't think that in the next generation you can take those numbers and multiply them by 2 and think you can grow. He continued, I think the industry as a whole needs to sit back and go, all right, what are we building? What's the audience expectation? What is the best way to get our story across and say what we need to say? Right? Then he continues at the bottom. And I'm going to read this part and then we're going to talk about it. So he says, it's hard for every adventure game to shoot for 50 to 60 hour gameplay milestone because that's going to be so much more expensive to achieve. And in the end, you may close some interesting creators and their stories out of the market if that's the kind of threshold they have to meet. We have to reevaluate that. Takakashi mentioned a handful of games that fit into a picture of ballooning team sizes, production times, and budgets. Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War, and The Last of Us 2, Layden oversaw the creation of 2 of those games, but he also pointed out that the Crackshot team at Sony Interactive Entertainment San Diego made each installment of MLB The Show in the space of a single year. With 13 studios in his purview, Layden saw his role as providing a clean runway to allow each one to achieve its specific goals, however many resources that required. Going into next generation, not only is that an important role in management, it's also perhaps really reevaluating what we can continue to put into games, at what cost can you continue to create games. So then he touches on something that I've talked about this before, and this is something that, again, it's a touchy subject, but it's something that we all have to have a conversation about, because this is very important, I think, going into next gen, but also gaming as a whole, right? So peep this part. It's been what does he say? He says the single most okay, here we go. Let's start right here. The single most reason why the AAA model is unsustainable is not the escalation of cost or team size, though. Rather, it's one of the weird freaks of nature. And Layden's 25 years in the game business, no matter how big the game gets, the price has always stayed the same. And the audience is very sensitive to the idea of it ever being higher. It's been $59.99 since I started in the business, but the cost of games has gone up 10 times. If you don't have elasticity, on the price point, but you have a huge volatility on the cost line, the model becomes more difficult. I think this generation is going to see those two imperatives collide, right? That part of it right there is very, very important to keep in mind, guys and girls, because when it comes to video games as a whole, right? We're already seeing a lot of people in the community not wanting to pay even $60 for games. You know, we've got Game Pass and all these subscription services starting to come up, and it, you know, they're starting to kind of, I don't want to say they're taking over because they're not, but, you know, at some point in the future, these companies are going to be trying to make these subscription-based services the norm, right? $10 for X amount of games. I've already said this time and time again. That is not a sustainable model in itself, right? Now you have Shawn Layden coming out and expressing that $59.99. The price of games now, and the way the development process is now when it comes to the cost and what it costs to do things and all these different things, even that portion of it is not sustainable. And no one's going to tell me that this man is he doesn't know at least some part. You know, you may, like, you know, people may disagree, but this man worked in the industry for 25 years, 25 plus years. He was the head of a gaming company, right? I think this man knows what he's talking. He's seen the back end a lot better than you, or anybody ever will, realistically speaking, right? So when he's speaking like this, I agree. I believe him, and I also agree. You know why? Because I've said this before. Inflation. It's crazy that this article comes out, and I was just talking about this Tuesday. Inflation, right? Video game cost is not following the same rules of inflation as what's an example? Okay, so I don't know, you know, for you guys that work, right? I don't know if you guys get yearly bonuses or a yearly raise or at least a COLA increase, right? You know what a COLA increase is? A COLA increase is a cost of living increase, right? A cost of living increase is based upon the market around you and where you work. So if you work in a metropolitan city, right, and you know you pay $2,000 for rent, and your rent goes up to $2,500. You know, I mean, obviously that's not realistic, but you know, just for argument's sake, let's use those numbers, right? If your rent goes up to $2,500, right, that is an inflation. You know, that's due to inflation. Cost, you know, everything else costs more. So when everything else costs more, the price of things trickles down, right? So when you working at your job, realistically speaking, your job is supposed to also, the amount of money you make is also it's realistically it's supposed to go up. Now, for everybody's job, that ain't the same. You know, that ain't true. You know, we know about the rent disparities and the cost disparities within the workforce. We're not here to talk about that. This is only hypothetical, right? But realistically speaking, if your rent goes up, the amount of money you make is supposed to go up as well, right? Now, let's talk about the development process and the cost of games, right? And I'm not talking because I see that's what the digital deluxe are for $69.99. Okay, because some games have 3 tiers: standard, digital, and ultimate. Yes, but those are by choice, right? I'm talking about a cost increase by design, right? So the standard edition, if the standard edition was to increase to $79.99, right? I'm talking about the overall increase in game cost, period. It's not fair to use the digital deluxe and ultimate edition tiers because realistically, people don't have to buy that, right? And the reason why those things cost more, or the reason why those things are set into place, those things are normally an extra piece of content or whatever normally is tied to that higher cost within the game, that digital deluxe, ultimate edition, whatever, right? You're getting, most of the times with ultimate editions, that's including the season pass, which again, you're paying for extra content, right? That's you paying for extra content or paying for content to, that might be coming down the pipeline, right? I'm talking about the general cost of games, $59.99, right? We haven't seen the last increase that I remember was during the PlayStation 2, because I remember PlayStation 2 games were $49.99. You guys remember that when PS2 and Xbox games and all that were $49.99? Then we got the increase to $59.99, and then that was it. And I think that happened, I want to say that happened at like the beginning of the PS3 generation, maybe towards the end of the PS2 gen. That happened. We're going on, because the PS3 came out in when, 2006 to 2016. We're almost at 10 years, 10 plus years, or we're past 10 years. We're talking maybe like, we're going almost a decade or more without a video game increase, but we have seen the price, the cost of development processes increase. AI says, I feel he is leaving out a lot of things so games can go up to 70, but Nintendo needs to make the first move. Also, DLC is not a thing. How many people buy digital deluxe editions? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I agree there, right? So one of two things need, and this is just my opinion, right? Again, if the cost of development is going up, right? But the price that games cost to buy is going down, right? And I'm not even talking about just the $59.99. I'm also talking about, games going into subscription-based services day and date, right? That $10 that you're paying, that's also a severely subsidized cost, right? This is why I would want to know the inner workings of some of these. Like, we kind of got a glimpse of it when some developers were talking about the Game Pass model and stuff like that, and they were saying that model wasn't even sustainable because they're not seeing a big enough payout and things like that, right? So we're already seeing it in that regard. But now we're talking about just buying games, period. Vedra says game development in the game development industry has high tax reliefs already. The industry is even bigger than all entertainment industry together. With these employees and lower wages, why don't movie studios complain? With, you know what it is though? I think what we have to understand as well is the game industry. The reason why it seems like, and stick with me here, guys. The reason why it seems like the game industry is making so much more money is not because of the money from the game sale, but it's the DLC cost, the season pass cost, microtransactions, right? All these different things that are put into a game to get even more money than the initial 60 from you, right? So when you add all of that together, of course it seems like, oh yeah, revenue is up, they're making all this money. It's not just the game sale. If it was the game sale alone, so, because we, all of us, not us as in everyone here, but, people hate microtransactions, right? People hate, loot boxes and all these different things that are shoehorned into games. They hate how content is cut from games and then sold to you at a different price later on in the game's life cycle. We all hate that stuff, right? We all want that stuff to go away, right? When you look at the revenue that's being made from video games, it's not just the sale of the game that's being counted into that revenue, right? When you think video game revenue, yes, Arsenic is saying video game revenue is up 20 to 30%. Yes, you're right. Video game revenue is up 20 to 30%, but that video game revenue, that video game revenue that is up, it's also it's not just the sale of the game. It's a culmination of things that the industry had to adapt. Think of it like this: the industry had to adapt, right? So if the $60, the $60, right, plus the 100 that a guy spent in with loot boxes, plus the 30 that he spent on the season pass, you damn right game revenue is going to be up. You damn right game revenue is up, because they're not just getting that 60 from you, right? And I think, and again, this is just my opinion, you know, I'm only speaking for myself. I think that the community, like with the game industry having to adapt the way they had with loot boxes, and because guys, you remember last gen, and this was EA that started this, but remember the whole used game market? They were trying to get rid of that because they weren't making money off of that, and EA wanted to charge, like, if you bought a game used and you wanted to play it online, EA wanted to charge you $10 and all this other stuff, because realistically, if someone's buying, I'm not defending EA in no fashion, right? I'm only using EA to make a point, right? Because EA does a lot of shady things, right? But the sale, I think what we have to understand is once a game is sold, so if you go into GameStop and you buy a brand new game for $60, right? That money essentially is going to the company, not GameStop, but to the game company or whoever created the game. If you beat the game and then sell it back to GameStop and try to get money, that money doesn't go to the game developers or whoever. That goes to GameStop. So then when somebody else goes in and buys that game, that money's not going to the developer. That's going to GameStop directly. Nah, Persona, you capping on this. These studios need to budget better. That's all there is to it. Why spend $100 million on a game? Figure it out like everyone else does at other jobs. I hear what you're saying, Social. I definitely hear what you're saying. I do agree to a certain degree. You know, I'm definitely not feeling sorry for a billion dollar company like Rockstar, that's making billions and billions of dollars off of, you know, their cash cards and all this stuff. I'm definitely not going to bat for them, not at all. But at the same time, every studio isn't $1 billion studio, and also our expectation of games continue to grow, as they should. I always tell you guys, keep your expectations high. Keep your expectations very high, right? But I think we forget the call, like what because a lot of these big companies are definitely, and I don't even want to say the big developers, it's the publishers that's pocketing a lot of that money, and they're definitely not distributing it, you know, accordingly, right? Mr. Modern says, question, is game revenue up because of Fortnite, GTA 5, and mobile games, and not necessarily because of AAA games? That's a good question. That's actually a really, really good question, Modern. I don't know the exact numbers, but I do know that Fortnite, GTA have definitely been pulling in billions and billions of dollars, and Fortnite's a free-to-play game. So where are those billions coming from? Microtransactions. AI says, raising game prices won't help now. Microtransactions are a part of the industry, just like the overpriced snacks at the movie theaters. I agree, AI. I agree with you 100%. I feel and this is where it's kind of like a double-edged sword for me, right? And this is why I'm on the side of the gamer, but I'm also I also understand where Shawn Layden is coming from, right? With the cost of games, right? It is too late. That's like the simplest way to put it. It is too late for us to revert. And when I say revert, I'm talking microtransactions, loot boxes, DLC, season passes, and all that. That stuff is now ingrained into the system of gaming. right? How the game industry operates, how it moves, how games release, how they're made. It's baked in, right? I think we're at a point where we can't revert back. We can't get rid of loot boxes. We can't get rid of microtransactions, DLCs, seasons. We can't get rid of that stuff. I mean, we can, but it would be very hard. It would be very hard, right? But what is the so I guess my question to you guys would be, are we okay with paying $60 for games forever? Like, even if they budget more or budget better, right? Or they distribute the money properly, or matter of fact, here's a better question, because Shawn Layden says, right? He says AAA development is so expensive. Labor costs, blah, blah, you don't have to build a factory. I'm trying to find where. Oh, here we go. All right, so he says it right here, right? Because Shawn Layden gives an alternative. He gives an alternative. Because he says AAA development won't be less expensive than the current gen of game development. 4K HDR art and creating worlds don't come cheap. All the costs around gaming are labor costs, right? You don't have to build a factory. You don't have to turn sand into glass. It's just creativity and your ability to bring like-minded people together to accomplish something. But it's all based on the people. Those are all the costs associated with it. So how can we look at that and say, is there another answer? Instead of spending 5 years making an 80-hour game, what does 3 years in a 15-hour game look like? What would be the cost around that? Is that a full-throated experience? I don't know why he said full-throated. Maybe it's supposed to be full throttle? Throated. Okay, throated. Personally, as an older gamer, I would welcome a return to 12 to 15-hour AAA games. I would finish more games, first of all, and just like a well-edited piece of literature or a movie, looking at the discipline around that could give us tighter, more compelling content. So my question is, because we already see it now. We see it now, guys, in the community, where if a game's 10 hours or 12 hours or 15 hours, people will say, that's not worth $60. And don't tell me none of y'all ain't see this on social media. We've seen this on social media. We've seen this. Have we not? I know I've seen it. I know Barry's seen it. I know Six seen it. I know y'all have seen this where, 12 hours, 13 hours for $60? That's not worth it. I'll wait for a sale. How many times do we see that? I'll wait for a sale. So my question is, and this is why I say this article is such a great piece, because now you're faced with two questions, and whatever answer, or not even, it's two questions, but you can only give one answer. Do we want games to be bigger and cost more? Or do we want games to be smaller and cost the same 60? Especially going into next gen. And answer this honestly for me, guys. Going into next gen, if we're getting a 10-hour next gen game for $60, how many of you are okay with that? Be honest. Be honest with me, guys. The world would be bigger, but it would be less. The AI may be better. The game may look better, but the game's 10 hours. How many of you are really okay paying $60 for that? Be honest. Barry says game prices will go up. Want big worlds, amazing AI, beautiful graphics? It's going to cost. Just don't put devs into a box where they have to short lengths of games. I don't agree with Shawn there. I agree with you. Barry. This is my thing, right? I don't mind. Me personally, I don't mind spending $79.99 for a game, and I'm talking base price. I personally don't mind that going up by $20 or whatever, if it means that the creative freedom of the developer isn't jeopardized. You get what I mean when I say that? So what I mean is, I'll explain it further. If the cost of keeping a game $60, so people like this, if the cost of keeping a game $60 restricts the developer's ability to truly create what they want to create, I'm willing to take that $20 bump. I'm willing to accept that $20 bump to games. And I'm being honest. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm being honest. Now, moving into next gen, our expectations are already high. We want games to be bigger. We want games to be better. We want the AI to be better. We want like all these great things, right? And listen, I get it. These billion-dollar companies definitely need to stop being greedy and start distributing this money much more efficiently and putting more money into what, these different things, right? I'm that's where I stand with the gamer 100%, right? These corporations and these publishers definitely need to be pretty much spending their money wisely, right? They do. Because it's not the developer that's getting all that money. It's the big wigs, and we know that. It ain't the developer. The developer's making $100,000 a year, maybe, if that. You feel me? It ain't the developer pocketing that bread. They may get a little bonus here and there or whatever if the game does great, right? For sure, right? But the developers pocketing that bread. No. That's not going to the developers. That's going to the publishers, guys. That might be going to the next That might be going to the next project, guys. Sorry, that was my phone. Right? That might be going to the next project. Mr. Social Joint says, it won't be less game content, and they will finesse you with DLC crap. It's a finesse. The solution is studios to budget better. Hollywood does it. So does every other job sector. How is gaming different? I think but see, the thing about Hollywood, right? Hollywood makes their money. Hollywood doesn't just make their money. They make most of their money from movie theaters, and then it trickles down. So they make the money from the movie theaters, and then the 4K Blu-ray comes out. So people will spend. It's funny because people will spend the $15 or $20 because movie theaters ain't cheap nowadays, right? People will spend that $20 for the movie ticket, right? Follow me here with this math because Social Join makes a good point, right? And let's touch on that. So let's talk Hollywood and movies. Movie theaters will spend, most people, moviegoers, if you go there the first weekend, wherever, whatever, it's $20, right? $20 for the ticket. So that's $20 pocketed to Hollywood, right? Another 15 to 20 for the 4K Blu-ray. Some people will watch the movie and then also buy the Blu-ray. That's already $40 out your pocket, right? Then it hits the streaming services. That's another $10, $15, $20. Now, obviously, you're not paying for that individually, but one thing I think a lot of people have to understand about movies, and gaming is kind of the same as well, but movies is much more. I think it's much more damaging to a degree. Movies are very volatile. That's a very volatile market, right? Movies can come out and be a complete bust, right? If you spend $200 million on a movie and you only make back $30 million, that's a huge loss. A huge loss. Now with video games, it's kind of it. That's why I'm saying like video games, it's kind of the same, but with video games, you kind of get more for your money. AI says JRPGs can go up to over 100 hours. I rarely do short games, so what he says doesn't befit me. Benefit me. I'm sorry, AI. Benefit. I don't know why I said befit. Benefit me. Yeah, I play a lot of JRPGs and stuff like that as well. I really don't have an issue completing long games. But I know there's a lot of people that, like, you know, they say, there's people out there that say, you know, oh, well, you know, I don't have time to play this 30-hour, 40-hour game. You know, it's this, you know, that's too much time on a game. Like, you see people say that stuff. Andre says, if games cost that price, they should stop shorthandedly giving us content. I agree. Barry says, you comparing a 2 to 3 hour experience to a 10-hour plus game experience. It doesn't make sense to compare. That's what I'm saying, Barry. Like, movies and games, it really isn't the same thing, right? They both live within volatile markets where, like, you know, a game could come out and flop for sure. But the thing about a game is, you know, a game can go on sale and, you know, still make some of that money back. It can go into the streaming service and, you know, it's still going to be out there and be played. Like, someone will play it, right? It may not be millions and billions of people, but I think a flop of a movie hurts a little more than a flop of a game. AI says, nope, I'm not paying $60 for 10 hours. I watch shows that are 60 to 100 hours. 30 hours might be worth 40 to 50 at most. Yo, listen, AI, I'm with you, right? Going into next gen, I'm definitely not trying to, you know, I don't want my games to get smaller. I don't. So looking at this, I'm like, where is the give and take? I guess is my question. Because, you know, 12 to 15 hours, I don't know, man. Like, that, going into next gen, I'm like, you know, I want games to be bigger. I want games to be better, look better, you know, all these different things that I want. I want the AI to be better. You know, I want the games to be like, you know, I want them to do. But then it's also like, you know, again, I'm willing to pay that 70 to 80. You know? I'm willing to pay that $70 to $80. I do have a time problem, but I don't want us to get shortchanged or quality to go down. I don't think the quality will dip too significantly. Like, I don't think games are gonna get worse because we're still paying $60. Not at all. Look what we're getting from PlayStation, right? A lot of those games that we saw look great. They look high quality. They look like they're on point. So, you know, I don't think the quality of the games that we get or play are going to be in jeopardy per se, but it makes for a good conversation just because games have been $60 for a long time, but we still expect games to get bigger and better, you know? And like I said, the industry had to adapt to that $60 price tag because it definitely is a very touchy subject. And now, you know, we've got, and part of it is also the industry being greedy and trying to, you know, nickel and dime us for different things. But DLC, season pass, and all that stuff, you know, that stuff started up last gen. You know, once the internet really started taking off and you know, online gaming and social media and all this stuff, you know, microtransactions, loot boxes and all this other stuff, you know, they definitely adapted and got more crafty with how they got more money from you. You know, now we've got not just the standard edition, but yeah, we've got the deluxe and ultimate edition of games. Do you think that's normal to you guys? You think that's normal, having 3 different versions of a game? with content cut out, or like, pre-order the deluxe and get this exclusive mission and all that, that's normal to you guys? That's not normal to me. But that's what it is now. Get this exclusive skin if you pre-order this, and this. Like, that's content that you get that I can't get if I don't buy that same version. So it's kind of them forcing you to spend that extra money if you want that. And then you have to wonder, is it worth that, getting that extra mission, is that worth $10? Yo, Choco, what's good? Appreciate you coming through. Arsenic Steel says, yes, that's been a thing since Funko Land, baggages, and EB Gamers were a thing. Why do games have to get bigger? Devs need to find better solutions. Spending more money is not a solution. That's what needs to be checked. Better budgeting. So what? Okay, so if better, I do agree. Like, budgeting definitely needs to be better, right? But then that's why the alternative is games getting smaller, or games staying the way they are, which is 15 hours. The standard length of a game is normally like 15 hours. You get those games where it's 20, 25, 30 hours or whatever. But most games that come out now are, the standard is like 15, 17 hours or something like that. I asked you guys if you guys were okay with that. We're not. Especially going into next gen. Also remember that the difficulty level in playing games, you eventually invest more time to complete the game. But Andre, is that actual time or is that artificial time? Is that time real or is that artificial? Making a game harder just to get more out of it. Not saying like, I play games on hard all the time. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing at all. But I'm saying, is that real time time or is that artificial? Anyone can be an investor. Choco says, I miss the ones that used to be 60 hours. I mean, listen, it's funny because back in the day, they were back in the day, like Super Nintendo and all that, there were games that were like 5 hours. There were games that were like 5 hours, but then you had the RPGs back in the day that were definitely like 60, 50 hours. I put a lot of time into Pokemon and Chrono Cross, Chrono Trigger, Suikoden, Final Fantasy. I put a lot of time into those games. I put a serious amount of time. Even GTA San Andreas, Warriors, those games, I put a lot of time into that as well. But when I think back to this gen, or even not even this gen, last gen, I put a lot of time. I put more time into games last gen than I do this gen too, though. Like this gen, I complete the games, I get the platinum, and I move on. And most times getting the platinum is what extends the time. Yo, Big Avel, what's up, man? Yeah, I finished Last of Us 2 on Sunday. Going for the platinum and stuff like that is what makes it, a 50-hour game, a 60-hour game is most of the time going for the platinum. And, and that's where I think, because going for trophies and stuff like that, that is content. That is, stuff that you can do. People say, oh, I'm not a trophy hunter. I don't chase trophies, which, fair, fine. But that does add more that you can do with the game, completing challenges and all this other stuff, right? But official time, like, actually playing through a game time, 15 hours. And I'm not talking about doing it on hardest difficulty or whatever. I'm talking straight up. I'm talking straight up like, yo, look, this is the time. This is what it is, But yeah. That's I mean, like I said, I agree partially with Shawn Layden. I do agree with him to a degree, but I also think that companies do need to be smarter with where they put their money and how much money they put towards things. And I do think that going into next gen, I don't want games to get smaller going into next gen. I really don't. But if that conversation came up where it was like, games are gonna be $70, $69.99, $79.99, or whatever, I wouldn't be too mad at that. Also, take into consideration is that if games cost $80 instead of $60, some games might not been bought as easily, and some low end studios might get into danger because of $20 more per game. There's a lot of variables. There's a lot of variables with increasing the price of games. It definitely is a lot to consider. But I think we also have to understand. Well, that's one thing too, Veggie, that you have to also remember is that small games like indie studios and stuff like that, they're not really releasing. We're only talking AAA. We're only talking AAA, like AAA games. Like, indie studios and indie games and smaller titles, they normally not releasing games at $60 anyway. They release games at 10, 20, 30, 40. Like they're not really like for the AAA. We're talking like AAA big budget titles. That's $60. That's $60. Those are the ones that That's what this article and that's what Shawn Layden is talking about when it comes to the length of games, but also the cost of games, and how that that AAA model of games being created at in such a large way can be isn't sustainable. Yo, Andre said, give us the whole complete game with DLC if it's going to be $80 for basic price. I can agree, but then that's what that's what the tiers are now. With the Ultimate Edition and all this other stuff where you spending $100 on the game, because you get the season pass and all that. But then sometimes you have to wonder how much of this was cut out of the game just to get that extra money. There's no way in hell you were in charge of your retirement fund. I doubt you manage anything more important than a pizza delivery. Arsenic, are you saying that to me? But then they will balance indies higher as well. Why would they jeep down their raise of percentage? Do you mean cheap down? Lower? I know they have to make money somehow. Oh, you talking to EJ? EJ. Yo, Arsenic, y'all are wild, man. Y'all be wild in the chat, man. I appreciate y'all, though. I swear I do. We know Persona doesn't deliver pizzas. No, sir, I do not. I'll eat a pizza, sure. I'm not delivering no pizzas. No, I'm a systems administrator. I don't deliver pizzas, sir. That's all I'll say. But yeah, I appreciate you. I swear I do. But I don't know. That's just me. I kind of fall within both spectrums, right? I agree with the gamer, right, with keeping the price the same, but I also agree with the price being an extra $10 or $20. I agree. I know that's not what you guys want to hear. I know you guys aren't happy about that, and that's okay. But if they were to introduce that, I wouldn't be mad. Well, not indies would. Indies, so, instead of an indie being 10 or 20, it'd be 30. Like everybody would get a bump up. Sure. Yeah, that's true. Everyone would get a bump up. But, you also have to think of how many indies are struggling to survive right now anyway. There's people that think that indies shouldn't even be $60. Even if it's like a big budget game, they think indies shouldn't be $60. Oh, this is an indie studio, so this shouldn't be 60. Or there's people that won't even support indie games or even look in that direction. So indie, never mind that price increase. Indies are struggling now with the prices that they're putting on games now. You feel me? Who's going to save them? Who's going to help them? Andre says they do it all the time, cut content out the game. That's what I'm saying, Andre. They do. So you have to wonder if all that content is kept into the game and we just paid that $80 or $70, would we also get more content on top of that with the season pass and DLC? Because that's where I'm thinking. It's like, okay, if we're paying $80, we're getting bigger games, we're getting more content. Are we still also going to be getting that DLC? Because DLC and season passes and all that stuff's not going to stop. That stuff is ingrained into the industry. So even if the price of games does increase, season passes, DLCs, loot boxes, and all that stuff is still going to be there. So you have to. I'm thinking about it with both sides of the. I'm thinking about it on both sides. If we're paying $80 for games, we're getting bigger games, we're getting more content within the initial game, but then we're also getting the DLC content on top of that. Isn't that kind of a win? Because the games are getting bigger and better by default, right? So if the game is getting bigger and better by default and we're paying that extra $10 or $20, but then we're also still getting the DLC content that obviously we would pay. I mean, listen, social, you're right. Don't be foolish. They will, of course they're going to finesse. These are big billion-dollar companies. Of course they're going to try to do as minimal as possible to provide us with content. We know that. I know it. You know it. We all know it. Yo, Red Infamy in the building. Red, what's going on with your mama? How you feeling? Miss Red in the building. Round of applause. Big round of applause for Red in the building. They definitely gonna try to finesse. For sure. They are. But in an ideal world, I'm thinking about it in an ideal perspective. In an ideal world, if we pay more for games, we should get more from the game, right? But then if the DLC and that content is still going to stay there, right? And that stuff is still gonna be around, essentially. And again, this is just, in a perfect world, this is how I would expect it to be if the price of games were to go up. We also would still get the benefit of having that extra content being created as well. And we also get that content too. But yes, you are right, Social. Thank you for raining on my parade. You are right. They will finesse. They most definitely will finesse. Red says, yep, the business model must change. Yes, it does. It must. That's a fact. I'm blessed the DLC is adding the value. Well, yeah, the DLC, that's the extra money. That's the extra that you got to pay into it. Look at Destiny. Well, it's a ton of people that hate that they got to continue to keep buying DLCs for Destiny. They're like, why I got to keep spending money on this game? And it's like, because they keep creating new content. That's why it really is a double-edged sword. Because, it really is a double-edged sword. Because, a game like Destiny's a perfect example. Destiny came out at $60. It had, raids, and all these different things, right? That came out at 60, but then they also kept adding on expansions and expansions for $40. And people, there were people that have issues with that. They feel, because there's people that feel that spending the $60 is enough, and they don't want to spend more money for the extra content. I gotta speak it out. I mean, Red, if you're trying to come through, you can come through. You want to talk? Come to the Discord. You should be already in the Discord. You are already in the Discord. I'll invite you. Hold up. You are already here though in the WPS crew Discord. Control V. So come through. Anybody else, if y'all want to talk about this, come through. Y'all are welcome. Y'all know y'all are welcome. The Destiny DLC are expansions and people still complain. That's what I'm saying, Arsenic. That's what I'm saying, man. They still do complain. They still do complain. That's exactly what they do. Andre said, all I'm saying is if we pay more, we want everything, because what if we pay all that money, the game sucks ass, you won't get a refund, and you most definitely, yo, what's up, Red? How you doing? And we most definitely can't get the time back that you invested to play. Well, see, that's why it has to be a complete change. Let me turn you up, Red. You kind of low. It has to be a complete change all across the board, right? Because there does need to be protections in place for the gamer when it comes to buying content, especially if they want us to move to all digital, if they want everyone to move to all digital and all these other things. There definitely needs to be protections in place, better refund policies and all that other stuff. So yeah, but yo, Red, what's good? How you doing? Introduce yourself.
What's good? Yeah, I was saying I couldn't type out everything because when I start typing fast, it just sounds like mush.
Yeah. Introduce yourself to the people.
What's up, everybody? It's Red Infamy and Master Geektress out here. Y'all might have heard me on different podcasts. Shouts out to Weapon Will. Or seen me in these gaming streets interviewing people in the gaming industry as a reporter. But yeah, that's my whole spiel as a little intro.
Definitely. So give us your thoughts. So we're talking about the whole Shawn Layden article where he was talking about he wouldn't mind seeing games going back to 12 to 15 hour AAA games if it meant that the development process would be shorter, because it's unsustainable for developing for games to be developed at 60 hours plus and still only be $60, and a culmination of other things. So give us your thoughts on all this.
So Hip Hop Gamer and I was having a debate. We need to start recording this stuff, but we was going back and forth on that, and I was he brought up some great points, and I was telling him how as our industry is going into the next generation, a lot is being asked for it as well with these different projects. So the common project you may have seen that used to be 30 million is now going up to 150 million. Is doing way over what is expected. Now the thing is that a project always have revolving liabilities a lot of times. So sometimes these games, these projects don't really make a profit. Sometimes they're breaking even. Now the point he made was with Sony. Sony owns their studios. So since they own their studios, they're making the profit because they're cutting out the middleman with a lot of things. So they own all their IPs by acquiring all these different studios that they have. So something to Shawn Layden's point is a little different. I think that affects the third-party studios where their content, I don't think it needs to go to 13 hours or so. So if it does go, that's why I made the prime example was Destiny. Activision has stretched the mess out of Destiny to make it very profitable. It was so profitable that Bungie was able to buy their company back. Um, and probably Activision had something or some type. There was probably something in the contract. I don't really know all the details, but Bungie still was able to get their company back and was able to still be sustainable even after to even continue with Destiny 2 and everything else. So if third party developers will probably have to figure out how they're disseminating their content to make it more cost effective if it's going to stay at $60. So like the examples that y'all were bringing up with the DLC and these expansions, that's why we're seeing a lot of expansions, because in the past these companies was trying to charge us to go online. If you bought a used game, you was asked out because you
Yeah,
needed
yeah.
that
Remember that whole
gold.
EA stuff from PS3 where if you
Yeah,
bought it used, you had to buy the $10 online card as well for their games.
exactly. PlayStation started to do it as well.
Yeah.
You needed to have the code to go online, and even with the Vita games and stuff, it became I felt that that was worse than the microtransactions going wrong, because I just felt that the way they were going about the resale of games was not the correct route. So now, like for example, if y'all paid attention to Crash Bandicoot's reveal for Crash Bandicoot 4, they mentioned how when it's digital, you'll get these extra in-game stuff compared to if you get a physical copy. So they're trying to go on as far as with digital. If everything is pushed to digital, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to, most of the sales is going to be the digital version of the PS5 and the Lockhart. If that's just gonna, I have to see into Lockhart, or if y'all have information, if that's just going to be a digital version. I think the Lockhart though is scaled back a bit on how
In terms
powerful it
of
is.
yeah, it is. It's only 4
Um,
teraflops.
yeah,
So
so
allegedly, like we don't know like the full specs yet, but that's
mm,
speculation.
it might be a little bit, a little bit boosted more than that. But as far as with the Series X, whatever's the digital version of the Series X,
Mm.
those are going to sell more, and the PS5, those are going to sell more than the actual disc versions.
It's
And the
cheaper.
reason why is it's going to be cheaper, and a lot of
Yeah.
people have already transitioned into going digital, especially what's going on right now. A lot of people want to
Facts.
go towards digital. They don't want to wait. Like I just got my Last of Us like yesterday.
Yeah.
Like because I got the special edition, but that's gonna cut a lot of costs. So if you want to keep things at $60, there's a lot of other factors that's gonna have to actually cut the cost of what's going on. You have to pay to get those games shipped off. Your distribution deals, you have to make sure you have to solidify. You have to, as far as warehouse and store, having storage for those physical copies. Of course, they love doing collector's editions because they're able to partner with these different companies and make more money.
Mm.
But in the long run, you have to have some way to cut costs. I remember going into this generation, a lot of us was asking, well, if it's damn digital, shouldn't it be at, cheaper? Should it be $50? Because you don't have to print anything. You have to actually print those discs and do so much stuff. There's so many different statistics on that to just print a disc and have it shipped out.
Mhm.
So I think going into the next gen, we may see that it may stay $60 for, of course, the digital version, or they may say,
Well,
okay, if you want the physical, it might be more. But I don't see that happening because the technology that's being done with games nowadays is cutting a lot of costs.
I have a question for you too. Then, and I know you answer truthfully, but I just want to put that out there. Answer truthfully. I know you will, but for the people,
Yeah,
um,
keep it.
and oh yeah, definitely keep it 100. For those that don't know, I've known Red for like 5 years, 6 years. I don't know. It's been a long time. I know Red for a while. In terms of next gen, are your expectations for how big games are bigger? Like,
Yes.
or not bigger, but are your expectations high in terms of like you're expecting for games to get bigger, better, longer, pause, all these different things, right?
It will.
Yes,
Like it will.
it will. Yeah, of course. Now, my
It will.
question to you is, if they were to say, okay, we see that you guys want this, we want to give it to you. We're asking for a 20, a 10, let's say 10, because 20, that 20 scares people. 10, so $69.99 for games. Would you be okay with paying that next gen? Next gen. I'm not talking right now. Next gen. Would you be okay with paying that next gen if it meant that your games would continue
for the
to
PS5 and for
just for next gen games? Period. Next gen games. Would you be okay with paying that if it meant that your games would continue to get bigger, better, and much longer? Pause.
There's a catch-22 to that. And the catch-22 to that, I'm going to speak upon it on a consumer side and also a business side. So like a lot of people brought up in the chat, as far as for you to want to go ahead and have sustained a price point for 2 generations at more than 2 generations for $60, there's certain things that have to come involved with that. So you can't dish out AAA games that are not finished. And what I mean by that is, if you want us paying seven, it's just like we live in New York City. We have the city asking us to pay. Well, let's say the virus didn't happen. We already knew that the MTA was going to raise it from $2.75 to $3. But here it is, the quality of service didn't go up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a necessity. It's not so much as a want compared to the gaming industry. But there was a lot to be expected, because if you're going up on a price, then there's certain things that have to be checked off for the consumer, because they're going to pay that price if they have a peace of mind on what they're investing in, because it's not a necessity, it's a want. These things are materialistic things, it's entertainment. So if you're telling me that I have to pay $70, then that means that I have to have a game that's uncompromised. So I have to have a 4K 60 game. If you're telling me that you want to charge $70, then it can't be about, oh, it's up to the developer on which you want to choose with. Because if you're telling me it's $70 for the console version, but I know if I had a PC, a lot of times PC games are cheaper than the console version.
But you're paying more though. You pay.
You're paying more.
I mean,
on
I'm
a
saying to get
console version.
that. Well, no, I'm saying
Yeah.
in terms of with PC, with PCs, the games are cheaper per se, but you know to achieve that.
I made a long-term investment.
Yeah, but a
So
lot of
this is-
people aren't going to be willing to do that.
It depends, because now the crazy thing is, the way this industry is turning is because now the graphics cards are going down in price with more technology. It's just like how Blu-ray players were very expensive. Plasma TVs was very expensive. A 4K TV was a lot of money. But now these things are cheaper in price because of technology. So it may force somebody to be like, well, let me just build this little $800 rig and still achieve what I need to achieve. Maybe I don't need 4K. Maybe I could just do 1080, 60, or 1080, 120.
That brings up another good question though. Because you said 4K 60 was the expectation for consoles if they're paying 70. If it's 1440p 60 frames, right? Is that not acceptable?
It's not. It won't be too much acceptable, but this will go back on the consumer, because I know I'm speaking on a sector. A lot of these people who complain about 1440 60 or something like that. Why is it 1440? And I always ask these people, what TV do you have? Like, what television do you have?
They got They got that Zenith.
Yeah. If you over here,
got that
and I'm like,
Zenith.
if I seen in your picture you got a Vizio from 2007, or you have, because Vizio and TLC and Hisense have really been kicking it to
Got that
Sony and
Westinghouse.
But yeah, Westinghouse ain't up there like Hisense and Vizio. So you got this Westinghouse that you got as a graduation gift from 10 years ago. And but you're complaining about something that you normally can't even see. But if I gave you something that was halfway decent as a TV, your mind would be blown.
Yeah.
So how is it that a 1440 is a problem? It's just like the debate even on PC about, well, and I think this is something too that a lot of gamers don't understand unless they have a PC. And now I'm a part of the whole PC, sector now, and just been learning a lot of things from it. Is that sometimes you'll have a game, and this can go both ways because of course a lot of games are uh developed for the console and then have to be scaled back to then go right back on to the PC. But there's certain games that the stability of the game really plays on the frames as well. And sometimes you might have that one game that it is fluid, but it keeps juddering when it's at 60 or going to 120. And then you have to understand the frames are skipping and all this other stuff and download something else with that. So on a console, if they having something that nothing is compromised and you don't have to worry about all that technical stuff that PC in order to achieve what you want, that means that your game cannot be compromised on what people are asking for this next generation. And that's something that is one of the number one things that people are asking for. Of course, load times to be cut down or obsolete as a whole. But that means that your game has to look very fluid. When I was looking at Ratchet and Clank, that was the only game that I seen that had a lot of gameplay that was very fluid. Like it was so like I was like, wow, this looks, and seeing it on its own trailer because the stream didn't do none of those games any justice. When I got to see the separate 4K trailers for them,
Oh, we talking buttery smooth.
yo, it was buttery, like it was butter. But
Buttery.
that was the only game to me that showed case like what I was looking for out of
Well,
a
yeah,
next.
that definitely was and I hate to get off topic, but I definitely want to have you on I definitely want to have an interview with you, like sit you down and really talk to you about like stuff that's been going on in the industry. Cause I know that we haven't talked in a while, and I know that my audience would love that as well.
Well, we haven't played no games.
I mean, that's your fault. But anyway, um, I agree. Like in turn, but then you also you kind of have to ask, because isn't it up to the like, aren't we putting restrictions on the developer's artistic vision to say, oh well, the game has to be 60 frames in order for you to get to 70? What if that's not their artistic vision? Like, isn't the whole thing is giving the developers freedom to create?
See, this is
definitely a conversation this is why I want to sit down and get in the interview with you and talk about this, because we can go all night. Pause.
To be honest, it's very conflicting for me. I'm talking about personally, in my opinion.
Yeah, of course.
When I hear that as an excuse, because you can achieve it and still uphold your the artistic way you wanted to go about your game.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if it's a shooting game, I'm gonna just call these games out. Okay, I'm gonna leave out some of the other games that want to use that excuse. But if it's a shooter, if it's a fighting game,
mm-hmm.
if it's a racing game,
mm-hmm.
there's no reason why we can't have 60 frames.
But we've been getting at this gen. We have consistency. I mean, consistently.
Exactly. But I don't want to.
But like Last of Us, for example, right? Like, have you played it yet or no? I don't want to.
I haven't played it yet.
Okay, so all right, so let's use a different game. God of War, the new one, 2018 God of War, right? Mm-hmm. While you were playing that game, were you ever like, damn, this game would be better at 60? Yes. Or did that game look beautiful? Really?
It still looked beautiful, but I know how it would look if it was on PC. Like that's what I'm saying. I know because I would have the control to force it. But the one thing I will say, because a lot of people play. The reason why I say that, okay, so when I was seeing it on, Gerard has a different TV than I do. I can't wait to get my new TV. But he has a different TV, and a lot of people don't understand as far as TVs for consoles. Like a lot of people just don't understand. They have this monitor to the TV as two separate things, two separate beasts. And the way a TV, the interpolate, I always get this word messed up, so I'm just saying interpolation or whatever. Y'all could correct me later. But as far as the frames, what the TV does with the chip, when you have hertz running, and I'm talking for everybody that want to say, oh, so I'm talking about when you're playing
What the fuck was
a
that?
action. That's how the
Uh,
nerdy, no buns people talk. So I'm talking about like the people, as far as games, that's like an action adventure game. You're not playing a competitive game. Of course, a competitive game I will not play with hertz on. I'm talking about a game that you are fully immersed in for the story and so forth. Even if it's a shooter, but it's a storyline to it, like of course the new Modern Warfare, and it's an action storyline game. The way the hertz perform on your TV makes it smooth because of course your console is only sending a 60 hertz signal out. But what the TV does is that it translated to jump it up a bit to make it perceived as if like it's adding on to that 60 hertz. So it moves smoother as if like you're looking at a damn PC game that's running so smooth. So I remember I was on a 60 hertz TV and I was playing Spyro, and then I looked at the 120 native panel TV, and I was like, "Yo, these look like two different goddamn games. Like it just looked like two different games."
Mhm.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that when you have a home theater system which you're building, you have to know what you're like. You have to know what you have to make sure that you're in the right conversation when you're speaking.
Oh yeah, you can't be playing on 1080p TVs and monitors talking about 4K
Like,
anything or 60
yeah,
frames.
why are you talking about
A 60
4K?
hertz, especially if you're, because a lot of people was like, oh well, I got a 4K TV. What's the hertz? Oh, it's 60. Yo, step to
Then
the
you
side,
can't
bro.
you
Step
can't
to the
talk
side,
to me
bro.
about a lot.
Step to the
You
side, bro.
can't.
If it ain't 120 or better, we not even in the same league.
We
Bruh.
can't
We
talk.
can't talk, man. We can't
It's
talk.
like two different tax brackets.
We'll
We
talk.
can't talk about the same.
You gotta hit him with the boy bye.
So if you don't have it in your household, if you don't possess it right in front of you, if you haven't gotten a chance to experience it,
Yeah.
there's nothing you can really talk about because you're looking really stupid right now.
Facts.
So all those out there that may have that 4K
Westinghouse.
Black Friday TV. I'm not trying to throw shade,
Shit.
but a lot of people have ran to go get have ran to go get a Black Friday TV because it said 4K on it,
Oh man, chill.
but didn't know the native and seen it said 120, but your clear motion rate was 20. But your that's not, that means that you have a native 60 hertz panel
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to also educate yourself on the display that you're investing in as well.
Yeah.
To then be in the conversation of, well, it doesn't run correctly, it doesn't look right because your fucking
Is
TV.
that how the nerds sound?
Yeah,
Like that?
so you're like,
You do a good nerd verse. Mine's just, well, you know, these are the games in the consoles that I like to play because, you know, that's my nerd voice I do for them.
yeah, like. So
Right, I definitely want to have you like on like a proper show where we're sitting down and talking games. Proper, very proper. I know, like I said, I know my audience will love that. Especially getting, you know, a black female on the show, a black woman on the show, and, you know, talking games, because it's a lot of black women in the gaming space.
Yes.
More than what people think. It's a lot of black women out here.
There's a lot of us.
Yes, there is. I definitely would love to have you on. I don't know what your schedule looks like next week.
Well, when do you have your show?
Oh, I normally do my When Persona Speaks on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays normally. Or whenever there's some news that I just got to talk about, it's juicy news, you know, I'll definitely do a show. But no, I mean, you know, whatever day you're available. I guess next week sometime. I don't know what's your schedule like next week. We'll talk about that offline. But yeah. This yeah. But yeah, this is such a great topic, and we're definitely going to continue this. Like I said, I definitely want to have Red on the show for sure. I don't sound like Shaggy, do I? I sound like Shaggy? Damn, I thought I sounded like one of those Twitter finger nerds that they get on with the fake outrage and I hate this game because I hate this game because you play it. And I hate PlayStation. Why do you keep showing these next gen games? Like I thought I gotta work on my nerd voice. I'll work on it.
Yeah, they. Well, yeah, I finally got my Last of Us Special Edition. To do
Which
my
one did you get? The Ellie edition?
Hell no, I canceled that.
What? Oh no.
I canceled it. I already got enough little white statues in my house. I need some. I canceled it. Now, the
Better
only
spray paint
other-
one of them statues, get some diversity in that shit. Gotta spray paint one of them statues brown. Like fuck this. We about to get some diversity up in here.
The reason why is the Ellie statue does not look right. Like
It doesn't. I'm just
it
like,
doesn't. It's not
I
good.
don't like the face. I don't like
It
the
looked
face.
like somebody slapped Play-Doh. Like it doesn't look right. I didn't feel like the value of it.
This
to
gonna
fight.
sound bad. Look like she got COVID.
Yeah.
She look rough out there, boy. Nah, but the face is definitely off. But I love pins, so I would have bought it anyway for the pins.
Oh, you had got it.
Yeah. Red, you know me. Stop.
You got money. I've been asking this man. to
Yo, I
donate.
don't. Why you keep saying I got money? I ain't got no money.
You
You
got
got
money.
money. You the one going to
I
NBA. What was that you went this weekend to Miami? NBA something you was doing. NBA interviews and shit. Like you the one that you got the bread. I ain't got shit. I can't
No,
be
I
no
don't.
NBA players and shit. What you
I'm
talking about?
struggling.
Shit,
There wasn't no
I'm
NBA
outside
players.
the club. You inside already. Shit. You in the
That's
VIP
because of
section.
Knowing people. That ain't because
You
of
feel
no
me?
money.
Shit.
That's
Hey, you the one. You walking in there with your Fendi.
I don't have a Fendi bag.
She got the
I
Fendi on. You feel me? Rocking.
I don't own any Fendi yet.
Yo, listen, don't let Red fool you guys. Red got a she
I
got a
swear.
4-bedroom house with a 2-car garage. She
I don't
owned
have-
3 properties.
There's only 3 bedrooms.
She got a private jet.
I wish.
Her bank account got not 6 zeros, 7.
Nope.
Red out here, popular. She still. I respect her for coming through. Chilling with the commoners. You feel me?
No.
The commoners like ourselves. Nah, I know Red for how long's it been, Red? 6 years, 5 years.
Like 5-6 years.
Yeah, she I call her the Queen of L's because she loses at every game we play.
Nah,
All right, on that note, guys, it's getting late. So Queen of L's, you feel me? She lose every game. Listen, guys. Let me say something to you about Red. Every game,
every NetherRealm game,
Let me
every
explain something
little
to you.
anime game. The only game you got me on is Blaze.
Every
Oh,
game
God.
that me and Red play, she always talks shit to me. Listen, we both New Yorkers, so we always gonna talk shit to each other. But she always talking shit to me, hurting my feelings, guys. You feel me? And we both Queens people. You feel me? And she just be shitting on me. Now you shit on Barry, okay? That's the Bronx. It's not, but you feel me? Not me. You feel me? But she always talking her shit. I'm like, all right, fine. Then we get in the game. She lose. She get
You know I
quiet.
got footage, right?
She ain't got
You
no.
know I got
That's
footage.
doctored footage. Fake news. Fake news. That's doctored. Don't believe her. I definitely want to get you back on the show, though. I'm definitely gonna get you back on. We're gonna talk about a day to get you on. But guys, this was a fun show. I was glad to have Red, impromptu come through, give her thoughts, man. Very knowledgeable gamer. She know her shit. Now this where Red take a L, guys.
How?
She gonna get mad at me. This where Red takes a L. Red
What-
never
what
played
happened?
Final Fantasy before. Lord.
That's a lie.
What? Which one was it?
I played the very first Final Fantasy. I played that when
Didn't
I
you
had
tell
an
me you never played? Which one was it? Which game you said you never played before? What's RPG? JRPG? Which one was it?
I never played, the original Final Fantasy 7
Okay,
and
okay.
all the other. I played the very first Final Fantasy.
Okay, fair enough. I'll give you that.
But
I
I
never
didn't
played the
beat
very
it.
first one. Oh,
But
all right, hold on. I'm about to give you a W. You just turned into an L. All right, never mind. We're gonna make it we're gonna make that a lowercase L. We ain't gonna make it an uppercase L. It's an L but lowercase, so they can't tell if it's an L or an I. Anyway, Guys, Red, give us your outro. Let the people know where they can find you at.
Yeah, I mean, on YouTube, here on YouTube, I haven't been on here as much. I've been trying to build my Twitch, but it's Red Infamy. It's not Red Infamy TV anymore. I used to get teased on that. It's just Red Infamy. Also on Twitch is Red Infamy as well. Everything is Red Infamy across the board. Also, please check out Geek Game Tight. That's TYTE. As far as the website and all social media stuff that's going.
Facts. Big shout out to Red, man. I appreciate her coming through. Don't worry, guys. I will get her on a show. And we definitely gonna chop it up, talk about games, talk about the PS5 event, talk about that space heater, Xbox Series X. We're gonna talk about it all. You feel me? Trust me. We're gonna. I might buy it to heat my crib. You know, come out during the winter. Need a little extra heat. You know, nice little foot warmer. You know.
That's not right.
But yeah, guys, I really do appreciate you guys coming through. Andre, Choco, Jamar, Mr. Coleon, what's good, bro? EJ, Vedra, Arsenic,
Hey, Coleon.
Social Joins. Yo, me, you, and Coleon ain't playing Uno in a minute either. Yo, man, listen, guys, I used to hand L's out to these guys, man. I'm telling you, I had the L's out of Uno. Red love the cheats. Yo, one day we gonna get some Uno popping off. It's been a minute where me, you, and Coleon. Listen, I win all the time, and Red get mad. She shut the game off, but we gonna keep moving. She be shut the game off. Red
Every
love.
time I play this man, I make sure I hit record.
Anyway, shout out to Plus Ultra. Shout out to Bari. Shout out to Social Joys. Caleb, Rollo. I appreciate all you guys. Guapzilla. We definitely gotta get some Uno popping. It's been a minute. I definitely want to play some Uno.
After I do this unboxing and
Nakub. El Matador.
El Matador.
Yeah. Yo, stream that. Oh yeah. One of these days, definitely gonna stream some Uno, man. Listen, I'm letting you guys know now. Red is a sore loser. She don't know how to take her L's. Yo, Mr. Coleon too. Coleon don't know how to take his L's, man.
Yeah,
Yo, Coleon do not know how to take his
You
L's.
won the most games out of us.
I won the most. You feel me? I always win. I always see. This how delusional she is, guys. I always win, and she don't even remember. That's how bad the L's be.
He wasn't even the first place though. He was a second place loser.
But guys,
if
you guys enjoyed the stream, please like, comment, subscribe, share the stream out. And don't worry, guys, I will get Red back on the show. We will definitely talk about all things gaming and much more, and delve into her career with gaming in the industry and things like that. That's coming really soon, so be on the lookout for that, guys. I appreciate you guys coming through. Please be safe, wash your hands, play your games, and we out.